I'm actually really glad to cast with you, Tez, because I thought you were cheating on me after that last game. I'm not gonna lie, I got really hurt that I wasn't casting with you. So, good to be back. Definitely good to be back in the booth, and glad that we got Ace Spence joining us too, because I know we got some announcements coming up for the town hall that's supposed to be scheduled for 2 days, I believe. Correct?
That it is.
2 days. Thursday at 8 Eastern. Wait, 7 Eastern. It's
7
7
Eastern.
Eastern.
There you go.
7 in one of the times.
6 Central. That's
There you go.
right.
7 6 Central. There you go. You got to have that TV style timetable. But yeah, so we got three teams coming in here to take on Zero Logic. We've seen very few games out of Zero Logic so far, as they do have a 2 wins, 2 losses scoreline. So basically, taking one series, losing one series, going the full distance both times. First team that they're taking on here is the Junkyard Dogs, who the last time we saw them play, Junkyard Dogs playing against, I believe, Rebs' now second team here, co-opting Devio's team. It was actually a kind of a close series, went a full 3 games, like we said, like I said earlier. But it's gonna be interesting to see how these two teams line up. Rain, what do you think is the lineup here for NCOT? What do you think their chances are?
I mean, yeah. So looking at the Junkyard Dogs lineup, I think they are most definitely going to rock with their full lineup tonight. Luckily, they have Demon on. I know the last game we saw they played without Demon. They played with Shrek, where he went, plus 40, but just wasn't the play style that they were used to. Wasn't what they, are used to cooking with. So I think that kind of threw him off. And a lot of people debated whether kills really matter after that, because you got somebody who's going that positive. But now that they're back with their full lineup, I think we're going to see them play a little bit more comfortably. Obviously, Gingy's been playing really, really well in the past couple of games. Demon is obviously a great addition, but plays a similar role to Shrek did for them, with being on the flank and helping with that outside pressure. And then you have Encott playing. Obviously, he's been switching off. They've had Gingy run, they've had Encott run, so it'll be interesting to see the look that they go with tonight. I'm gonna assume that they're gonna have Encott run, which in my opinion would probably be the smartest with just the way Gingy's been tanking versus the way Encott's been tanking. But yeah, I mean, realistically, I think that we're in for a pretty close game. I'm not sure that this one's gonna go 3 series though. I think that we're either gonna see a 2-0 on the side of Junkyard Dogs or a 2-0 on the side of Zero Logic. But I think I'm gonna put my money on Zero Logic for this one. But what do you think?
Yeah, I do think that Revs' main squad here has a knack for going the distance and not letting games slip away, but at the same not letting games slip away quickly. They while they are going to be against the Junkyard Dogs, who are scrappy dogs given their name, I do think that Revs' squad here, all 4 members that are playing on their main line, Rebs, Mav, Priest, and Sev, all fantastic players in their own right. It's going to be interesting to see, considering how few games they've actually played in the AGLA this season. Whether or not they'll be able to lock it in and actually make themselves, make a statement here of trying to keep their playoff spot, as they are in the playoff race here against Last Drop and Passive Theory. Funny enough, Rebs playing against their own team. But I do think that Zero Logic will take this away as a 2-1. I don't think it's going to be a runaway. I will say, last thing here, Rain, we are just waiting for you to join into the lobby so that we can get this game underway. While he's
Is
doing
Rain gonna
that,
be in game or no?
Rain is
Yeah,
going
I'm
to be in
coming
game,
right now.
getting him
Okay.
in right now. Yep.
Got you.
Good call out. Good call
Two way,
out.
2-way.
And looks
All right,
like
chill out.
Ace Spence, as a last thing before we tip this off, what do you think? What are your predictions here for all 3 matches? Because we'll probably not hear from you between games. But what are your
Yeah, I know.
predictions here? Zero Logic versus Junkyard Dogs,
Well.
Spanks, Life Coaches, and the Last Drop.
Well, just like Jaden's about to say, it's probably going to be a 2-1 game going in the favor of probably Rebs' team here.
Oh yeah. What's tipping the scales that way for you?
I don't know, dude. It's going to be a 2-1 game. I'm pretty confident about that. But it's like a 50-50 coin flip on whether it's going to be Encot's team or Rebs' team currently. Rebs' team tilts too hard. Encot's team also tilts too hard depending on how the runner fucks up. But both teams are kind of out of practice right now. So it really is just it's just like Rebs is the most practiced out of everyone right now.
Gotcha.
Given he's been playing on 2 teams. And that, I think, is going to be the tell for Rebs' team winning.
All right. Well, it looks like we are actually hot dropping into the game right now, so we're gonna have to run off from predictions. Thank you for your insight there, Spence. Really appreciate it. But Rain and I, we're gonna take away the cast here and bring us into this first match of our triple header night. Alrighty, so as we're loading in here, you'd said, Rain, that you were expecting NCOT to be the ball carrier here. We've seen Gingy be the ball carrier before. Who do you think's gonna be the ball carrier over on Rebs' side, though?
That's actually interesting. I know Rebs has not been as confident in his running capabilities lately, and I mean you start to look at the roster a little bit. I know Mav, especially when they start to get down, Mav usually takes over that running spot for them. I don't think they're going to have that for him this time, just based on the sheer altitude of Mav's tanking is something that they're going to heavily rely on. But a massive tip off already on the side of Zero Logic. Zero Logic getting free punches, getting some tank ins, but not able to close it out on that opening drive. But definitely a huge solid tip off for them as we start to see that tanking prowess unlock.
Absolutely. Sev looking to be their ball carrier here on Zero Logic, which I can say, having been on Sev's team before, very good ball carrier here, typically very good at keeping the ball in his hands and not turning the ball over. So I do expect it to stay in his hands as he does toss it over to the far left side just to get it away from that pinch on the right side. Priest now staying as the temporary ball carrier.
Yeah, I was going to say it's going to be interesting to see how Sev is going to play, especially as we get later in the in the game. But Sev is actually playing on Eastern connection right now. It looks like, because it looks like this lobby is playing on the Eastern, so we might start to see him play a little bit more aggressive now that he's not playing on necessarily 400 ping. It's probably around like 200-ish. So we usually start to see a more aggressive Sev, at least from the punching category there. Yellow looking to still have the ball after, like you said, that quick turnover. Mav on the up court pressure. Rebs finally bringing that sword out that we've been waiting to see. We didn't really see that the last time he played, but definitely playing more aggressive now as they trap this ball in the corner. Yellow still holding on possession as they rotate it to the left.
Absolutely. Managed to get that spacing here on the right side. It looked a little bit dicey there. Looks like they are going to fall back into Gingy being ball carrier and taking that tanking line here with Recharging on his right. Demon looking to play out on the far left side here, might play for a flank, but instead pinches in, giving some space here on the left side for the ball carrier to move forward. Lots of trades happening here in the center area as Rebs is kind of split between two people. Beware Rebs' sword. Gingy respecting that sword, backing off as Recharging gets traded. So it looks like we're just going to settle right back in as the mid space kind of gets taken by both teams, looking for an opening in that Zero Logic lineup.
Yeah, good to see the respect of the Reb sword. Obviously, Reb sword coming out right now, almost a nasty takeaway, but Mav not able to finish. Definitely able to put some damage on there. Priest with the cleanup, but Yellow still somehow holding onto the ball. Again, going to be interesting to see with Gingy running. We've kind of seen this tanking line already for the side of the Junkyard Dogs collapse, not once, but twice. MCOT kind of holding space right now. We'll see if they do a quick Gingy swap, but I don't think they will, as they have one flank. They're going to kind of try to hold space. Kills going up, but their flanker gets caught. All tanks down, they go through the throw out and the reset, which we will probably see Gingy take over as Purple puts on that full court press.
Absolutely. Rebs holding that space there with the sword, making it real difficult for the ball carrier to find any purchase, as well as some pretty successful just tree tanking almost from the Zero Logic lineup, making it very difficult to actually take advantage of that demon flank that they had for a while at the plate. Could have been a very aggressive play to try and pass there, but instead opting to not go for that, go for a more conservative play as we are only 3 minutes into this match.
Yeah, I like seeing the court pressure on the side of Zero Logic right now. They're like, if we're looking at this from an aerial view, from a top-down perspective, they're playing all of their T's. Priest is doing an excellent job of maintaining court pressure in space, not letting them pass that half court mark, playing the aerial ground. Mav is doing what he does best, which is flank, hit the runner, hit the spawn. Rebs trying to sneak in there with a sword. As Sev gets a nasty double, almost turns that into a carrier kill, but Gingy able to punch his way out of it, but still not able to cross that half court threshold as all of his tanks are dead. We might start to see that turn around just a little bit here, but Purple putting on an excellent display of pressure. Rebs trying to sneak through with that sword, gets spawned on, able to not get the kill off spawn. Sev staying alive, runner trapped in corner, runner almost going down, but able to hold on to it for a little bit longer.
And that's why we see them give that ball to Gingy. Gingy is tried and true with the ball here. He's not really going to cause turnovers, but to your point, we are seeing the cost to their tanking line as they're not able to make many gains into the past the midfield here. NCOT alone on the far left side. Gingy with no help until Demon shows up. Ball's going to be turned over deep in friendly territory here as Sev and it looks like Priest are going to tank it right in. Priest going to tank it at the line, and that is going to be the first score here for Zero Logic. A costly turnover by abandoning the ball in the corner. Demon tried to get in there to find some space and help his ball carrier out, but it was too little, too late. 1-0 score here on the first round.
Yeah, and I mean a breakdown of that score too. I hear my own coach living rent free in my head. I hear Lux saying, "Wall tank, stay alive. Wall tank, stay alive." And as you saw in that last push, Wall tank went straight for runner. Spawn went straight for runner off spawn. Both of them throwing their lives away, thrusting straight at runner into a free tank with a free kill, making it that much easier for Sev to kind of dunk that goal in. But hopefully, like you said, hopefully we start to see NCOT run back to this runner roll. And
oh my
quick
god!
Pass, almost
Does not quite get there.
Double
kill on the plate. Triple kill right at the plate. Could be oh my god, the respawn almost takes it away. Fantastic recovery. You hate to see it. Fantastic recovery by Zero Logic there. That I have a feeling that Sev did not know that pass was coming, because otherwise that could have been an even faster pass play.
I mean, that pass was spot on. I think that we caught him in the mid lunge mechanic, but able to still take a double out of that. It was crazy. And then you got the pressure from Mav coming up court, just slamming, absolutely murdering and putting bodies into that kill feed, which we like to see from his aspect. But Mav is quickly turning this into the Mav show, and they need, especially on the side of Junkyard Dogs, to get Gigi off of the ball to get that pressure, create that space again. We need to see the demon pressure where he starts to create those smart plays, goes for picks. We got 2 swords on right now. It might be a quick pick, but no, as Yellow desperately tries to get, who is that, Rebs out of the spawn, but Rebs staying alive, floating back and forth, able to get another kill off the
How
spawn.
are they still alive?
3 kills, 4 kills as they go down, and
oh my god,
poured in. But nice plate stop on the side of, I think that was Gingy. Yeah, Gingy,
that was Gingy.
Nice plate stop there.
That was very narrowly bringing us to a very quick 3-0 scoreline. That would have been a hell of a dopamine injection for this Zero Logic lineup, and a hell of a morale killer for the Junkyard Dogs. But they are showing that signs of life from the Junkyard Dogs, as Gingy still has the ball. Will unfortunately just have too many tanks on him, not able to keep the ball in his hands because of that, and the ball's going to get thrown right back over to Priest here, as he will be the current ball carrier, as Reb, still alive, ends up dying on the right side here, looking for a very aggressive play here by Priest. They're feeling themselves a little bit here on Zero Logic.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You start to see that they're in the let's just throw it and whatever sticks, we'll get the ball back regardless zone, because every time they've turned the ball over, it's been less than, I would say, 30 seconds before they get that ball back, just based on sheer pressure in that tank line and collapse. But I think Gingy's playing a little, Gingy, they like Gingy in the running position just because he's so level-headed and so cool, calm, and collected, but I think he's playing a little too cool, calm, and collected, as we see a late pass out again. Rebs kind of free with the sword. They go for the, Rebs was wanting that sword really, really bad, but able to clear that kill up. But yeah, Gingy playing a little bit too calm and collected, a little bit too passive, and staying with the ball a little bit too long, as they've seen tanks just collapse over and over and over again, getting multiple turnovers at a time. But Gingy able to reset the push here. Yellow has some tanks alive, but Priest doing a good job cleaning up and making light work of that right side flank.
Absolutely. And I'm honestly curious, because you've probably got the alternate perspective here. That's a nasty sword from Rebs. I'm actually curious to see your insights here from the overhead view. Are you seeing much penetration on either of the flanks here by Junkyard Dogs, or are we just kind of seeing them kind of stall out? Because I feel like I'm not seeing much push from their tank line.
I mean, it's positional for sure. I mean, giving the kind of the aerial breakdown, we start to see Gingy or a Demon on the flank, but just with the sheer lack of tanking power and how many bodies Zero Logic is able to put down over and over again, it's getting really, really hard for them to create that.
As we say that,
making a miraculous push and cleaning that up, making it what was it, a 3-1 score, I believe?
Absolutely.
2-1 score.
Yeah, it brings us to a 2-1. That crucial hammer stop on the plate earlier by Gingy, turning the tides in their favor, and it looks like maybe Junkyard Dogs will opt to give the ball to someone else, because that play started being successful when they gave the ball to Recharge, and it looks like Gingy immediately going to pass it off to Recharge. They have found a new setting here where they're going to put Recharge in the ball carrying position, Demon on one side, Encott in the middle, and Gingy on the far side.
I like this a lot. I don't know if I like it as much as NCOT running, but I know Recharging is at least not going to be as aggressive with the punches as NCOT can get sometimes. But either way, I like the fact that Jinji's no longer running the ball. I like that NCOT's holding up course pressure. I like that we're going to see the Jinji Demon combo, which works out for them really well, has been a key to success for them in every win that they've had so far. So hopefully they can keep this. Jinji getting a nice kill in mid, traded out by Mav though. Mav able to keep that pressure, somehow stay alive in a point blank swing. He's in the air, able to get picked up and recharge and doing a good job keeping space for his team. Almost getting traded out there by Rebs. Rebs with a nasty fly through hammer, and tanks are going down, down, down again. Sev able to put damage on the runner, but they're just this new tanking line. I don't think they're ready for the pressure that it's bringing. We just like that to kind of further your point. We are seeing NCOT on the flank, but just not that strong of a flank.
Absolutely. That there was a potential for an opening there, but unfortunately, Recharge went in for the same. Oh, looks like we might actually have a stoppage here. Okay, and they're picking right back up. Looks like we might have had a
just
blip
like that,
there.
we're good. Yep.
Might have just been a blip, but one thing we saw there was Recharge went in for. Oh, and you hate to see it. The turnover. That's Rebs' sword coming to you live here on main. Unfortunate for the Junkyard Dogs. Fantastic for Zero Logic. There is a reason that Rebs is terrifying in this league when they've got their sword out.
Yeah, I'm happy to see Rebs playing with a little bit more confidence. Like obviously we played them last night and it didn't feel like playing the same Rebs, but it seems like today he's got that energy back, he's got that livelihood back. We've seen him pull sword multiple times. And they've gotten turnovers and picks because of it. So I hope to keep seeing that. Yellow right now trying to do a good job of wrapping it up, but they're gonna swap out to Sev almost immediately. Priest holding the anchor side on that wall, Rebs and Mav playing a nice middle. I think we start to see Mav break out to that left a little bit more and maybe start to play the flank, but with tanks down it might not go. But here we go with Mav on the flank in a 1v1. If he gets that kill, he's going straight to plate. On a full breakaway, they start to get this up-court pressure. Rebs and Priest collapsing. Nice little teamwork tank right there, but they're kind of spread out. Got a lot of gaps to fill in here. As Mav not able to close out and get that trade kill, and they lose their tanks to go down for a backcourt reset.
Absolutely. It looked like Mav had an opening there on the left side, but unfortunately, Rebs and Priest just didn't find any kills. They just got repelled from the right side. And so that just left all the respawners on Junkyard Dogs to just fill in on the left side, push off Mav, and either kill him or just push him out of their side. And what we end up seeing is a stymied push as the Zero Logic lineup is trying to find some space here on the left side. Might be getting corralled, though, as 3 tanks dead, no one up. That is going to be a far throw up past health pack. That's just going to be a basically give the ball away back to NCOT just to avoid a quick score chance for the NCOT lineup and avoid going to that 2-2 scoreline for now.
Yeah, I think Junkyard Dogs are starting to get some energy behind them. We're starting to see the hammers go down a lot faster. We're starting to see some team tanking come out of them. I think they're starting to hit that stride now that they're not getting absolutely mollywopped back in the corner.
Absolutely.
And Jinji's giving them that full court energy. But I mean, you look at a quick breakdown. They're holding Mav. Mav is usually like positive 20, positive 30 at this point. Right now he's only positive 4. Rebs with a negative 4 with 36 kills.
Ooh.
Sev staying the same at 29 and 28, and Priest actually leading the charge with 43 and 39. So they're dying as much as they're taking away just with that quick Jinji shift and them able to put more pressure on the side of Zero Logic. But Priest with a clean takeaway right now, an easy double kill on plate. He's challenging that 1v1, but the spawns get him as somebody spawns right on top of him, able to clean him out, and they have to fall back and reset again. But man, would that have been a nasty push. They were definitely looking for that pass play. Reb's able to make some space here. Good tanking pressure on the side of Zero Logic. Mav cleaning up those kills. Priest coming in right behind him, flowing in a flow state right now, easily synced up as they start to make that nasty push.
Colty kill on the plate,
it's
turnover.
On no, but oh man, we hate to see it. This is the spawns that people are talking about. Mav able to somehow come away with that, but yeah, those spawns are brutal, man. Gotta watch out for those.
Yeah, now I will say, from my perspective, there it did look like that the Zero Logic lineup was pretty spread out on that back wall, and unfortunately, if you're blocking a lot of the spawns are just going to happen. They have to spawn somewhere, and so unfortunately, those spawns end up going right in the ball carrier's face as he goes to low health, and so we end up on this very awkward, not quite turnover as we get a quick pass over to Rebs. Rebs looking for maybe a fast play here as Priest is getting the first kill, still over at the plate. Rebs ends up passing it back over to Sev. Priest and Mav not able to make anything happen on that push. I've still got the stats pulled up here, and I gotta say, there's a reason it's a 2-1 right now and could have been a 3-0, is you were mentioning with the Zero Logic lineup, that is a pretty high pass there back to the team. Actually, wait a minute. Ball's kind of here on the side of the court. It's a turnover at the plate. Demon is on the plate. Ball is on the plate. And suddenly, it is a 2-2 scoreline. Stats be damned for the Junkyard Dogs. It is going to be a 2-2 tie as we're going into round 5 of game 1.
I mean, I think this league is definitely highlighting some of the things that, yes, kills matter. We've seen teams lose brutally when they get outkilled, but we've also seen teams come away with 5-2, 5-3 wins and their whole team goes negative. So it really is just an IQ play as to what exactly is going on. I'm frozen right now. I have no idea what's going on. Oh, never mind. We're back. Cool. We're good.
Alrighty.
I panicked a little bit because I thought I was lagging out for a minute, but yeah, to what we were talking about, kills for this team necessarily may not matter as much. Oh, a nasty turnover on the side of Encott. A nice hammer stop. Don't sleep on that hammer stop from him. He's known for that.
Absolutely.
As they go to reset and Purple tries to add more pressure after they just got mollywopped in their own spawn.
Demon is fast man here. So Demon might be playing here from the corner. He's got one dead. Might be looking for a second dead. Does not get that kill on Priest. Could have seen a fast play there, potentially, depending on the positioning. But what I was going to get into here, as we were kind of getting to this kind of back and forth here from the tanking lines, was that, like you were saying, the stats don't always matter as they actually get a 3 dead here. Might be looking for a fast play as Demon is still alive. It's a 1v3 here for that tanking line. They got to get recharge here to help out. Rebs is dead. That's 3
Demon
dead
is
again.
slamming right
Demon
now.
is slamming. It is a 3-2 scoreline. I cannot get this stat claim out about how Encott's team is getting out-tanked. It doesn't matter. They are finding the kills where they matter, and that's what matters the most, is getting the kills that get you the points, not just getting kills for the sake of that KD.
Again, now that we notice on that super fast push that they just had, that was Encott running the ball. So again, they've changed runners now 3 times, even with Gingy running the ball now, and I don't know if they're going for the strategy.
Double kill,
let's
triple
just have
kill.
everybody running the ball so you can't catch a hang of it. But right now, it's all gas, no brakes. They're pushing, they're slamming the spawn, they're making sure that they feel that core pressure is on. But a late punch gives it right back to the side of Rebs and Zero Logic.
Absolutely. You always got to be respectful of that Rebs sword. You really don't want to challenge it if you're in a 1v1 scenario as the ball carrier. Rebs kind of held away here for a moment, but Rebs will actually get some space here as the tanks find some reprieve. Encott and Gingy coming off the spawns here as we're looking at a Sev flank, Priest and Mav in the center. But there is no one home. Sev is just going to walk that in. That was a fantastic.
That was 100% a free pass.
Yeah, that was
well played on the side of Sev.
Fantastic play by Zero Logic. Sev just running through Narnia, apparently on the left side. Rebs gets left alone as Priest and Mav set up the wall in mid, and you end up with this only 1 or 2 dead from the Junkyard Dogs lineup, and it just starves the spawns and makes it an easy pass in. 3-3 scoreline now as we're going into round 7 of this first game. Sev going to be the ball carrier here, as is customary. We have seen both teams, though, go into these kind of alternate ball carrier positions, as Sev somehow, there's a reason he's a good ball carrier, and it's plays like that.
Super bold, though. If Gingy turns out a second earlier, that's a free kill for them in a nasty predicament, which they've gotten caught in
Absolutely
3 times already so far. So.
Absolutely, I do agree that was basically an taking advantage of mistake potentially. Rebs ends up turning the ball over costfully, gives it over to Demon. Demon now going to bring it all the way back to recharge. So Demon's going to fill in here with Encott, trying to hold off the 3 tank line. Rebs is dead, but Encott gets traded back by Priest. Demon's going to fill in here against Priest and Mav, as recharge is going to be the ball carrier for now. Again, we are seeing one of those 3 ball carriers so far. Demon has been the only one to not really ball carry for much time, as he has been basically their consistent tank. Demon somehow still alive. Encott at the plate here, trying to get pressure on Priest, pulls the hammer. That timing was so close there.
That hesitation.
Exactly. I do think that if he goes for that punch on the right player and then dashes into the plate, what would it have been? It would have been, I'm trying to get the names right here. Yeah, it would have been Priest that would have been out of position there, where he had gotten pulled over by Encott, and instead we get this immediate spin over as Sev is already coming across the midline. Rebs is at the plate behind the main tanking line, though. Rebs is now going to get 1v3'd. Yeah, not long for this world over there, but Demon does get traded accidentally as a betrayal.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. That half-second hesitation can make or break almost every team. We see it so commonly where you get so in your head about a play, then you just don't pull the trigger.
Absolutely.
right when you need it the most, and it ends up in a turnover almost every time. So you hate to see it. We never know how that would have played out. Maybe they would have got the hammer stop, but I think if he guns it right there, we might have seen a turn betrayal, turn score,
Absolutely.
any of the above, really.
Absolutely, and it would have been a hell of a boon for the Junkyard Dogs lineup that came out kind of a little bit dead on arrival for the first few rounds of this first match. Ended up getting a reinvigorating 3 rounds here, where it's now a 3-3 scoreline when we thought that this might actually be a runaway from the early matches or early rounds of this game. But as I say that, Sev is finding the punches. That's 2 punches. Is he just going to punch his way into victory? His tanks say no, they're going to help out, but Sev gets too close to the tanking line, and Encott will take the ball back. Encott currently going to be holding onto the ball as the ball carrier. Very costly turnover as the Junkyard Dogs look to find that 4th score, as Recharge is finding a ton of space here against Mav. Takes out Mav, now pushing against Priest and Sev. If you can get a good pressure here, it's possible at the plate. Recharge probably should have dashed forward, and Icon is still going to force it in, push it past the main tanking line, put us to a 4-3 score line here in Game 1. Junkyard Dogs on game point. All right, and they're kicking off here for this 8th round. We're going to see who ends up getting this, as Encott is kind of tree-teching here. Quick pass. It is an open goal as Recharge has the pro run available. It's 5-3. This is 30 seconds have passed since we thought this game was going Zero Logic's game, but instead Junkyard Dogs prove why they're the dogs, prove why they're going to bring you down to their level, and put us onto a 1-0 scoreline for the Junkyard Dogs.
Yeah, I mean, that was a phenomenal turnaround on the side of Junkyard Dogs. We really start to see them hit their stride in the course of things, especially when we look at the stat breakdown. I wasn't able to see any of the stats from the Junkyard Dogs side during the course of the match because my HUD's all messed up. But Demon dropping a nasty plus 16 game. But other than that, we see the team relatively going negative. We see a negative 17 out of NCOP, negative 14 out of Recharge, and Gingy with holding on with the plus 5. But again, those stat lines not mattering. Demon was definitely the X factor in those last pushes. Recharge doing a really good job of holding space, not getting out tanked by Mav, able to kind of hold and lock in that last push. But you hate to see a team come from behind and get that momentum and absolutely steamroll their way through the rest of the game.
Absolutely. Yeah, for Zero Logic, you kind of have this feeling that I've heard a few times from Spanks life coaches in their previous games, which is we beat ourselves. We didn't get beat, we beat ourselves, and that's really what we saw there out of the Zero Logic lineup, where they came out swinging, they got those early goals, almost went up 3-0, ended up having to fight for that 3rd round a little bit harder, but man, there were just some unforced errors, some little mistakes that just really cost things, especially that Sev turnover at the end there that cost the 4th point, and then just immediately Recharge gets a huge opening and a quick pass play from Encott to seal the deal. Hopefully here, heading into Game 2, we're going to see a reinvigorated lineup from Zero Logic to try and push us to what so far has been a quintessential point of their team, that Game 3. So far, both of their matches have gone the full distance, and if Zero Logic wants to get that third match to be a victory, they're gonna have to bring us to a Game 3.
Yeah, I think this is where we start to see Zero Logic at their best. Usually Game 1 is pretty rough for them. That's their standard. It's nothing new to them. They usually don't get frazzled. Instead, this is where we kind of see them tee up per se, and definitely start to lock in. But a very dominant tip-off on the side of Junkyard Dogs. As they get the ball and able to maintain that space. Demon going for a quick double. A nasty takeaway from that Reb sword, though. Changes
Mav
the pressure.
immediately coming in with Priest here. Ton of opening here at the plate. Mav still alive somehow. Almost gets that kill on Recharge. Sorry to cut you off there. Just looked like we were going to be an immediate score. My God. Rebs' sword is not to be trifled with. That is a very, very risky passover and an immediate turnover on the plate. Rebs, what were you thinking? Oh my God, Rebs passing off the ball, just laying it at the feet of, I don't even know what teammate that was.
We're seeing more, we're seeing more and more teams do that. We saw that a couple times from your own team last night, where it's like you go so fast and you're like, I gotta get this ball off, but you're not paying attention to, there's 2 swords right behind me, and if I drop this ball, we're both getting sworded. So
absolutely.
It's a huge, oh my God.
Oh my God.
I'm able to absolutely destroy the plate right there.
Absolutely. Mav coming out clutch there as just multiple unforced errors. Both teams playing very sloppy play right now, but it's working for Zero Logic for this round. We go from yin to yang. It's Jekyll and Mr. Hyde here on the field as both teams are looking both ungodly good and at the same time abhorrently bad. It's going to be interesting to see if we see more consistency from either of the lineups.
I think this might be a blitz game. I think we're going to see a lot of quick scoring. I don't think it's going to drag out nearly as long as the first. I think both teams are starting to figure out, okay, hey, we got to do this, we got to do that. But we're starting to see a lot of aggression out of Mav, which we really like to see, especially on this side. And Mav's going to get away with a lot of free kills. They just got to stay alive. But able to clean up this kill. They got to push out a corner here. NCOT trying to wrap to the flank side and try to close out that spawn. And what could have been a betrayal, it might have just been a trade, but Gingy able to stay alive and slam recharging into the ground as he takes a quick second to double tank and be like, was that an enemy or was that recharging? Either way, he's getting the kill.
Absolutely. And I know it's only 45 seconds into the round, but it's a mote of relative calm from these two teams as we're starting to settle into round 3 of this game 2, and a lot of trading happening out here as both tank lines end up falling apart here. We're still sitting at this midfield. I'm just going to check in here with the stats. It's way too early, though, because no one has really more than 10 kills. It's kind of just a chaotic game as Mav trying to go out on the sideline here. Mav actually got a through line here. Demon holding off that throw.
Get that kill? That's insane.
Absolutely. Mav with the amazing from the stratosphere double kill. Mav is just another type of player, just coming Swiss cheesing that line from the Junkyard Dogs. Somehow, instantly, we are at a 2-1 scoreline, and I don't even know what's going on anymore.
Nah, Mav's just turning it on. I mean, we said at the beginning of this match that he was going to be one of the X factors, that was going to be the Mav show. Now we're starting to see a little taste of that, where he's just unkillable. He's in the air, he's to the left, he's to the right. Either way, he's magically somehow right where he needs to be, cleaning out the spawn and holding alive, and his team's doing a good
turnover.
job following up. Oh, as a massive 4 alive turnover. He wraps back for the punch. Not a good idea as they able to take it away. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I think that should have been a straight in push. He should have trusted his tanks a little bit more, but he wrapped back to punch the spawner and ended up getting traded out immediately on a 50-50 with the ball.
I'm going to be honest there, though. NCOT didn't die to give the ball over. NCOT dropped the ball. So it was really weird because Rebs picked up the ball while NCOT was still alive. So NCOT dropped the ball into Rebs spawning. Then NCOT gets traded by a different tank. Rebs gets traded by a different tank, and somehow the ball stays on Zero Logic's hands here with a very weird play.
Yeah, that was I didn't even know that he just dropped it. I thought he went back to punch and got absolutely demolished on the respawn, but that makes a lot more sense.
That redirect.
Throw it up. Yeah, they're throwing it straight up.
Yeah, that was an attempted throw to the far corner for Zero Logic to hold on to it, and the rejection yeets it into the far corner of Junkyard Dogs as NCOT is going to be heading up this main tanking line. Recharge going to be their ball carrier here. They're kind of falling back into what was working last round. NCOT still alive, does not get the trade on Mav. Mav coming out clutch.
A little bit more there. It's got to hold out a little bit more. I know you want that aggression, and we're finally starting to see a Junkyard Dogs that's rolling, but that's the third time we've seen Recharge and play way too close to his
play to Mav.
All the way through, and that's free. That's free.
Just got to back up for it, and he, as you said, that is free. My God, it is whiplash here on the Griffball field as the game does not stop playing. I mean, that's really weird to say, but you get what I mean here. What I think happened there, though, earlier was they did not respect that Mav is just going to win those. And so Mav won those, and the ball carrier ends up getting killed rather than Mav getting traded and giving the ball carrier an open line. Mav coming in here on Gingy. Gingy with a quick throw out to Recharge. Recharge in the far corner as Priest takes care of and it's a rejection as Priest keeps the ball in possession here. Rebs is alone with the one tank, but unfortunately won't make it in yet. Gets the punch in the dash. Sev was there to tank in, and it's going to bring us to a 4-1 immediately. My God.
That was beautiful IQ work by Priest. Priest knew exactly what he was doing with that. He slams the ball against the wall, lets his runner get behind to clean it up, instantly pushes to the other side of spawn, flips the spawns on the opposite side, and they're able to clean it up with an aggressive punch from Rebs for the double punch. And I really, really like to see that out of Rebs. So yeah, we're seeing a very, very much heated up Zero Logic, which they're going to need to be. I mean, they got if this goes to a 3-3 series, and then you got 2 more games after this, which could also very likely go to a 3-game series, it's going to be a long night for these boys, and they got to stay hot.
Absolutely. And that's an unfortunate turnover there, as Encot's got the opening, potentially too many spawners, though, so Encot's going to take the smart decision here, back off, try and reset the game a little bit, maybe slow down the pace, but as I say that, Zero Logic says, yeah, bet, and decides to just continue the full court press. These guys are going to run out of steam at some point. You have to wonder. Ball right on the plate here with multiple swords.
It's going to be interesting. I think we're going to see a lot of high-speed play right here. A nice tank out on the side of the Junkyard Dogs, but again, Mav just living and doing whatever he wants, free range, almost an easy turnover, Rebs with a free kill, Priest trying to follow up and play that middle. They're going to get real aggressive here. We're going to start to see a lot of swords, I feel, and you know, Junkyard Dogs is just trying to stay alive at this point. It's been a wicked 4-1 sweep on the opposite side, and now it's a how do we hang in this game kind of momentum. Demon on the spawn,
on
though,
the spawners,
getting a quick double kill, able to take 2 with them. If Gingy stays alive there, that's a goal, but not able to stay alive. Recharge and playing far out on the right side, trying to make space. Almost able to get a kill and go straight to plate, but they're getting collapsed on. Here's the double sword coming from the corner.
Takeaway.
Too.
Oh my god, and that's it. That's it.
That's
quick pick with a 3v1 scenario on tanking line. That's a 5-1 definitive fight back. As I was saying early on, Zero Logic, you can count them down, but you can't count them out. And honestly, same thing with Junkyard Dogs, though. For all we know, we're going to see the exact same thing flipped next game. That was whiplash compared to the first game, as it was a 20-minute first game of the match. It is an 8-minute game. Oh, few games are much faster than that, and both teams are raring to go. Much like how that was an 8-minute game, they are not waiting for stats analysis. They are throwing us right back in. The last thing I'll say while we got the stats up here is that Recharge was at the -11, Mav at a +11, basically the two highlight and low light of the two teams. But looking at the stats across the board, honestly, the stats don't look that different between the two teams. It's just that the kills that Rebs' team got, the kills that Zero Logic's teams got the kills where they mattered. They got those 2 critical turnovers in the opposing team's back wall that turned into very quick scores. And like we were saying, as I'm saying this, it doesn't look like one of the members has loaded in properly, and it looks like we are going to ditch back out after that first attempt here on game 3. Looks like one of the opposing lineup on Zero Logic did not load in properly, so we are going to end up having a few moments of reprieve here to chat about where we're at in this series.
We're definitely seeing a very heated up Zero Logic, and as you kind of said, you know, on the side of who's getting the most kills, I don't think they care about that literally at all. I think the biggest thing here and the biggest takeaway is going to be, you know, when they get those turnovers, it's full gas, it's full jets. They're turning on the blazers, they're going for it. Priest is getting the kills, Mavs in the air doing his thing, creating that momentum in space. And Junkyard Dogs kind of felt like they were just kind of floundering that game. They were trying to get any footing that they could, but with the speed that Zero Logic moved, and the preciseness when it came to the picks, the turnovers, the swords that were flying in and out, they just couldn't get a solid footing in order to get that tanking pressure that they got in game 1. So it'll be interesting to see what they want to do here, who they have run the ball, if they're going to be able to slow the game down, and if they're going to be able to maintain that, retain that same pressure that they had in game 1. So we'll see. I think it's going to be really interesting. I think, you know, obviously we started the game quick and hot because we want to keep that momentum rolling, but this might be enough to kind of ice down both teams and slow that roll.
Absolutely. Kind of give a mental reset to Junkyard Dogs after an absolute shellacking in game 2. Kind of give them a moment to think about, hey, in game 1, we fought back, we brought back the round, and if it's, I kind of have a feeling here though that if Junkyard Dogs can kind of hold up, not turtle, but if they can hold up and just not feed as much, take their time a little bit, actually take a few extra breaths, they might actually force mistakes out of Zero Logic, who want to keep the gas down their throat right now.
Yeah, I genuinely think I think that Junkyard Dogs, I hate to say it, I think they're playing a little bit scared right now.
Yeah.
I don't think we're seeing the same level of aggression from Demon just because they have to constantly assign to Mav. They have to constantly assign to the Rebs. They have to constantly worry about where Priest is. They're just getting rolled on all fronts, and the speed, they're just not able to match. So I hope that they're able to kind of slow this game down. Maybe the break will give them a little bit of relief, but we'll see as we kick off this tip-off.
Absolutely. Gingy going to pull away with the ball here as NCOT does get traded back by those front two tanks of Rebs and Sev. Demon trying to stay alive here as Recharge is looking for that flank out on the right side, but Recharge turns out to be the only tank alive. Rebs sitting on the opposing plate here. Toss it out towards the Demon and NCOT area. Not on the same page here from Junkyard Dogs on who's going to be the ball carrier. Demon as a rare ball carrier here for now. Don't know if he's going to end up pitching that to someone else, but again, we're kind of getting this turtle up scenario where they're not really able to find much space, and in doing so, it's making a free field day here for Zero Logic to find space on the opposing side of the field.
Yeah, I think if Rebs didn't go for that weapon swap while he was floating the back line, I think we would have seen another scenario which we just saw 3 times in the last game, where that's just a quick pick. That's a quick turnover. That's
Absolutely.
a nasty sword. That's an absolute sneak through. Encott trying to make his way up court, but his ball runner's getting absolutely pinned in the spawn. So while that up court pressure matters, this is a common thing that we see where you're trying to make that up court space, but that space does not matter literally at all as your tank and your ball runner is fighting for their life, pinned in the corner, not even able to make it to half court or see you past the throw.
Absolutely, and oh my god, an unfortunate attempt there on Mav, and Mav ends up just getting that double kill, almost double sword on the ball carrier as Sev's looking for it. Sev gets traded back by Demon. Rebs is still there against Demon. Gingy going across the plate here, trying to stay alive. What I was going to say here, though, is that what I think is the difficulty is Junkyard Dogs have not settled into a settled ball carrier. Ball is free on the ground here for Sev. Sev's going to pick that up. Mav is on the plate, killing respawners. Priest trying to keep that pressure on. Just need that punch on NCOT. Probably going for the dash score, but actually won't go for it. Ends up getting all tanks dead. Sev dead as the ball gets thrown right back to his side of the field. Reb's going to pick that ball up for now and hand it off to Sev. Man, that could have been a quick score. I think we're just seeing some indecision from both teams right now on exactly what they want to do with their lineups.
Yeah, I don't think it was more so that. I think unfortunately they just kind of whiffed 2 of those. Oh, that's a quick
well,
collapse. Never mind.
Never mind. You know what? I retract my previous statement. Zero Logic knows exactly what they want to do, and it is just rip apart the Junkyard Dogs. More accurately, though,
right now.
I think the Junkyard Dogs are the ones that kind of have the tail between their legs right now, where because they keep changing who their ball carrier is, the team can't get settled into a kind of a lineup and can't get settled into a play style. And so you keep having people cycle from, oh, I'm the mid guy, oh, I'm the ball carrier, oh, I'm on the flank, oh, I'm doing this. And when you're doing that so often, unless the team is ready for it, that you just kind of end up looking confused and not able to push across midcourt, as we're seeing here again in Game 3.
I think Zero Logic is really just entering a flow state right now. I think that
True.
they're smooth, they're cohesive, and I think they're not allowing the side of the Junkyard Dogs to get that same flow. But now we're starting to see that up-court pressure that they were providing Game 1. This might actually be a takeaway, which it is. Demon able to get a quick pick on that and throw the ball back to his carrier. That's what they need to see more of, is that cohesive pressure. Everybody's pushed up court, but they just haven't been able to get that footing with how aggressive Zero Logic's playing. But they have to make it their game. They have to play the ball how they want to play it. They need to slow down, and they need to get a consistent runner down, so that way they understand everybody's roles. Kind of the point where you were saying, but Zero Logic in equal fashion to what the Junkyard Dogs just doing, absolutely slamming spawn, able to get traded out, put that ball out, get more pressure, Gingy getting a quick kill, and they're able to take this up court and just wrap out of this corner, get a little bit of breath as they start this push.
Absolutely, and I will say Junkyard Dogs actually kind of clutching up there on that defense. That's probably one of the best defensive plays, just in terms of long form defensive plays, that we've actually seen from them in this series, where usually it's either one person playing heroics or otherwise, oh my god, ball is just in the middle of it. I don't know how the ball is still alive and gets that in, but that's a 1-1 scoreline, and the Junkyard Dogs, they'll take it.
Yeah, we're back to it. I think we're going to see sort of a chippy game. Yeah. I think we're going to see a 3-3 out of this, and then I think it's going to be a blowout on one side or the other. I'm leaning towards Zero Logic, but hopefully they can do what they did on that last push and just kind of keep the ball in their possession, keep the court on. NCOT's got to stop this flank though. They're not keeping up enough tanking pressure for him to be flanking like that. But Gingy able to get 2 quick kills actually and stay alive. Recharge coming up with a nice carry off. Gingy trying to play off of him for the tank. Demon able to come in and get 1, stay alive, and they got 4 up with 2 down on the side of Zero Logic. This could be an active push in, which they need desperately, as Demon able to get a kill, pick off. Gingy keeping that court space right now, trying to do his best to not let them leave or not let them out of that corner, and they're staying alive here pretty effortlessly.
Gingy is doing fantastic work right now. That throw, that's a wild throw. Unfortunately, will not turn into anything, and it is going to be a turnover at the plate. I think that NCOT was not ready for the throw at the plate because it looked like, again, not on the same page. And this is something that the Junkyard Dogs are going to have to work on if they're going to end up taking away this match, let alone going forward into the rest of the season and potential playoff implications. So for now, Sev is going to be holding onto this ball as Mav is going to be up on the right side. Priest is going to be in the middle, and I'm assuming that that's going to mean that Rebs is out on the left side. That it does. Mav trying to hold some space there. Ball gets rejected back against the wall here at about half court. Right next to Health Pack, as Priest is just holding the line, not actually going back for the ball. This is actually some fantastic tanking play here from Priest, kind of showcasing the idea of, hey, you don't need to hold the ball, we just need you to hold the space. And it ends up paying dividends as the ball stays on Zero Logic's side. Fantastic sword from Demon. A rare mistake by Rebs against a sword. Usually with Rebs' sword prowess, usually they're very good at managing a sword, contesting them as the ball carrier.
Yeah, I think we're starting to finally see them play their game. I like that they're being a little bit more aggressive with punches. I like recharging, sticking to the hip right here. Going for the free pass. Yeah, he knew exactly. As soon as he saw his tank get that first kill, he said, yeah, we're beelining it. We're going straight in. I'm going to stick right to your hip. I'll get the punch off the respawn. I know they're going to spawn on the opposite side, so it's not a big deal. Let's make this a 2-1 game.
Absolutely. And so the Junkyard Dogs going to have this lead right now coming into round 4 of game 3. Demon going for a very aggressive boost towards the ball carrier. Last I heard, the conventional wisdom is don't boost straight at the ball carrier. It doesn't go well. So, unfortunately, does not work out there for Demon as Sev is looking for some opening here on the right side. Ends up passing out because of the triple sword there by Zero Logic.
That's 3 swords that just hit him right in the forehead.
Absolutely. Zero Logic going to get completely pressured out there as Rebs is looking for an opening here on the right side. Does get the beat on recharge there. Demon trying to hold the ball carrier back. Rebs just trying to hold space. 1v3 scenario there on the right side.
Yeah, dedicating 3 is crazy, and he's still alive.
My God.
Almost able to get recharging, but recharging thankfully able to trade him out to not let him sow any more chaos in the back line.
I mean, he gets that kill there on recharge, and I'm pretty sure that's a foregone conclusion. Again, a rare mistake here from the Zero Logic lineup. Actually, I guess that was Mav on the ball carry, so the ball ends up turning over into NCOT's hands. Fantastic sword play here from the Junkyard Dogs lineup, as Mav and Priest now going to try and pressure off Junkyard Dogs and not allow them to take this 3-1 lead here in game 3 of the match. Let's see here as NCOT kind of getting left on his lonesome, committing the cardinal sin of rotating away from his tanks here as a recharge immediately under sword pressure. Going to go for that throw back to NCOT. NCOT now back on the right side with Demon in front of him as his tank. And Priest going to try and hold this push here, kind of cordon it off into the corner as recharge looks like he's going to get some opening here on the left to mid side. You'd love to see a rotate here from NCOT towards his strong side as he's trying to catch people potentially in rotation, maybe try and pull some pressure as recharge is trying to hold that line up.
That's bad.
That's 3 tanks dead. The spawns are completely covered up. Ball gets thrown over to Gingy here as recharge is going to have the ball, the tanking line here against Rebs. Rebs will get traded by the ball carrier. My God, it is just chaos here on the Junkyard Dogs lineup as their flanker can get past midfield, but not much else. Actually, as I say that, it's 2 or 3 dead, 1 behind.
Yikes! There it is.
I think he saw him, but it didn't matter. Wait a minute, everyone's dead. Okay, no, two respawners.
What's happening here?
I thought that was, 1, I thought that was a turnover, and 2, I thought that was a score, and 2, that gets pushed back with recharge on the ball, as NCOT's somehow still alive in that far side there.
I genuinely don't think he saw Mav on the hammer. I genuinely don't think he saw
That's
it until
possible.
It was too late, and he tried to flip and punch, and just got absolutely deleted, but luckily able to stop the chaos that was there. It seemed like Junkyard Dogs had a massive push. It was 4-2 at one point, then it was 2-2, then it sounded like everybody just disappeared, and it was just ball in one shot. So
My God.
I'm not really sure how that played off, but thankfully on the side of Zero Logic,
fast play here from recharge. No one's there.
Score. Yeah.
Fantastic coverage from Demon and Gingy
Good
there to
route.
allow Recharge to get that in. Recharge finding that opening. Recharge, they should really keep the ball on Recharge here. He's clearly got the ball IQ to actually play the plays that you're looking for and get the wins that are necessary. And I was just going to try and now take the time now that we just had the score, and it looks like we might not have a... Actually, I say that. There might be a fast score. But the ball carry here by Sev. Quick stat check here as I'm saying that. Can't get to the stats check. Can't get to it. Sorry. We're not going to have time to get to the stat check. It's immediately zero logic. Kill all four. Run it in. 3-2 scoreline. This game is all gas. No breaks. That is zero logic playing to their name. There's no time for any logic.
We're going to hit the 3-3 mark before we start to see somebody get gassed out and go 5-3. But Demon is playing like he's got an absolute chip on his soldier right now. He is slamming these kids in spawn. He's absolutely staying alive. He's playing his best life. He's making sure to keep that space. But I really like Recharge's running this game. I didn't know how I was going to feel about that at first. And again, they got Gingy on the ball, and that's a terrible decision in my opinion for this. They got to get him off of the ball so they can keep that court pressure and let Demon do his thing. But Recharge is able to get a double. Encott just jumping in and throwing his life away. Gingy having to reset for the third time already in just this ball position.
I have to say, how many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? Like, you give the ball to Recharge. All your scores are on Recharge being your ball carrier. Most certainly
and again,
not Gingy.
We got Encott playing the flank again. Like, why?
We're stuck on the plate
don't have
here.
enough tanking pressure.
Ball's gonna get turned
Oh my
over.
God, that's brutal.
And they've got spawns controlled. This is free as that punch from Mav on the respawner because there's nowhere for Encott to spawn. That is a 3-3. Can you say psychic? My co-caster here, Rain, with a perfect call here on us getting to 3-3. Let's see if it can complete to a quick two more scores for either lineup. This could go either way, folks, as the ball is going to be definitively in the hands of Zero Logic here, getting a definitive start on the kickoff. Priest with a fantastic double. Can he get the pass in? That is a pass play. Does he survive? He doesn't survive. Recharge. Rebs is trying to get the kills at the plate. Demon is going to turn it over at the plate, and Gingy will end up getting that ball out. My God, it is again all gas, no breaks.
This is Griff ball, that's for sure. But they are playing at a speed at which they are.
Oh,
the dribble finesse was insane. I don't know who that was, but oh my.
Recharge. I was about to say Recharge had the ball, which is great. Immediately gets hammer stopped, and then I don't know who ended up with the ball. It could have been Demon, could have been Gingy, could have been Encott. I have no clue, and I don't even think Junkyard dogs know who had the ball there. As it ends up being a 4-3 score here very quickly from the Zero Logic lineup. As again, like we've been saying, all gas, no breaks, no time for logic, no time for thinking. As I say that, a crazy play, an immediate sword from Red.
It's just slot ball.
It really is, and it looks like, much to their name, Zero Logic is loving playing into this chaotic style where you just don't let the opposing lineup get any idea of who they're actually playing against. I highly doubt that the Junkyard Dogs lineup is getting any time to think, okay, where's Mav? Okay, where's Rebs? They don't got the time for it. There's just too much movement and too much spacing here by the Zero Logic lineup. As finally, we've got a moment of reprieve potentially. Okay, Rebs doesn't get that kill. If Rebs got that kill, I was immediately going to be wrong on that call. But quick stat check here. Encott with almost a -20. Recharge and Demon, or I should say Recharge on a -8, it looks like. Demon barely positive 38-37. And Gingy holding up with the positive scoreline here at a +8. But on the flip side, it's a +16 from Mav, which honestly is kind of what's expected from Mav, as Rebs and Priest both going to have near even scorelines here, 42-43 and 47-46. And Sev barely negative at 28-32, which is pretty good from the ball carrier if you ask me. So it's kind of settling in here as we're, into a really long round for these two teams, as Rebs is a past player here.
Boy.
Rebs is at the plate, but there's no help to potentially get that throw to Rebs.
That's a massive space that he just took up on their side of the court, and I think we're about to start to see a really flustered Junkyard Dogs. We've also seen multiple betrayals coming out on the side of Gingy, Demon. The people who don't normally betray are just doing anything in their power to make sure all of these kills don't go through, and make sure that they trade out Mav so that way he no longer creates that problem. But Rebs in the air, Encott able to stop him. Demon trying his best to kind of push out here, but I think we're starting to see the panic kick in, where it's like, holy shit, this is 4-3. We got to do something here. Let's send one sword on. Oh, that was almost a net. If he gets that double on spawn, that's a free game. That's a
Absolutely.
free 4-4.
Absolutely. And so instead, we end up getting the ball tossed all the way back up to Priest here, or is it going to be Sev? Sev's going to have it.
Moon.
That was a sailing ball. Probably had a little bit of reflection there, but Reb's going to be holding up this space here on the right side. Does the NCOT move on the jump dash, and you're immediately getting some space here. That is going to be a run in, and that is a 5-3 scoreline. Call it psychic. Call it what you want. That is a 2-1 match take by Zero Logic, and guess what, folks? That was only match 1. Oh, jeez.
Man, you hate to see it. You know when games are going your way, and you know when you get that energy and the momentum shift back, and you can only imagine, what the comms are like inside the heads in the room of Junkyard Dogs. They've gone through this so often, man, where they come out super hot, they win their game 1. Game 2 looks a little bit shaky, but they're still in it. But game 3, something just turns off, and they start to play a little bit frantic, they start to play a little bit sloppy, they start to lose their kills, lose their footing, lose their edge. And just like that, Zero Logic says, hey, we're capitalizing that for sure. We're not going to let any time waste. We got 2 more games to get to. Let's end this right now and put this away. And that's exactly what they did.
Absolutely. And now we kind of get the most time we've had all series. Actually, wait a minute. Let me just see here. It's okay. They kicked off the game again. I think they're just kind of going to be scrimming here until Spanks Life coaches get ready for their match. So going to give us some time here to kind of debrief a little bit as the score lines in terms of kill death kind of was honestly a wash, apart from Mav being super positive, and it looked like one of them was super negative. Here, I'm gonna. Okay, they did not mean to launch the game, so they're gonna put us back into the lobby here. But man, what would you say here to the other 2 lineups that are about to go up against this squad? What's the way to deal with Zero Logic? Because it looked like just a hyper chaotic style coming out of them, and can you actually war of attrition this, or instead are you going to have to try and play into them and just not let them get a foothold?
I mean, I think that's what we're gonna see with their next game, honestly, because they're against your team next, right? Spanx Life's coaches.
Space Life coaches, yep.
Yep. So I think that this is gonna be the team where they can't play like that. And if they can play like that and they play their speed, this could throw a huge curveball in that, because your team is rolling right now, but they've been relying very, very solely on that tanking pressure, on that ability to really dominate on the side of the hammer. But the IQ plays is the weak hole there. And I think that this team, if anything, is going to do just that. They're gonna throw the flank at you. They're gonna throw the aerials at you. They're gonna be going for pass plays and all of that good stuff. So realistically, I think they have to not only get those IQ plays up like we just saw in this last matchup, but they also have to get their tanking pressure up. There was a lot of times where they're getting straight up out tanked by the side of the Junkyard Dogs, and that's even with them going negative. So against a team with a lineup like Skull, Spank, and Snipes, who have been playing absolutely out of their mind, and a very passive runner in Griff Beast, who also is not afraid to step up and get those punches, I think that's going to create a bigger issue for this
Alrighty, and we are back here for the second game, or second match here of the night. We've got Zero Logic back for their second of 3 matches tonight. They just took out the Junkyard Dogs in definitive 2-1 fashion. It was a little bit shaky there at first, but once they took hold in the second game, they ran away with it. And so now they're going to be taking on my actual home team here. This is the team that I'm playing. I play as their 5th if needed, but for now, it's going to be Skull and Spank, Silent Viper, and Griff Beast coming in here. Griff Beast known as their main ball runner. Spank, Skull, and Viper just fantastic tanks on that lineup, but they are coming into a beast of an opposing lineup here on welcome back, Rain. Good to see you back. Wasn't sure had to bring us back from break here, but we're gonna be hot dropping in here in just a minute or two once Rebs' lineup is ready to go. So just teeing in here. What do you think of based on what we just saw? What do you think of Spanks Life Coach's chances here against the Zero Logic lineup?
Yeah, I mean, for no specific reason at all, I actually hate this team.
Oh, okay. Okay. Got it.
Yeah, I just am I'm not a fan of the gameplay. I'm not a big fan of their tank.
Oh, really?
Completely unrelated to our loss to them, but no. In all honesty, I love this team. I think that they are on a hot streak right now. I mean, they are the first team to take an entire game from My Chemical Spence, which is sadly enough a huge milestone in this league. But I mean, that team is absolutely disgusting, and they definitely put on a show last night. And they drew blood for sure. So I think if they keep on this train where they're rolling and they're tanking well, and I mean, Scullin is finally playing like peak Scullin after last night. I mean, he went positive 40 against the best team in the league. I'm really looking forward to see what he's gonna do here. But again, I think these boys got to be aware of the IQ plays. I think this is one of those teams that, yeah, you can out tank them, but if you are not watching your flank, or you're not watching, where the flow of the ball is going, just like that, it can shift, and you can be in a losing situation. So if they can tighten up and they can all, call out those picks, call out those flanks, I think that this is going to be definitely going on the side of Scullin and the boys, and putting Zero Logic at 1-1 for the night as they roll into game 3. But definitely still like the side of Zero Logic. Obviously, they're coming in hot off of a fresh game. I don't know how much of a warm up Spanks Life Coaches got, but either way, I think we're going to be in for a hell of a show as we tip off here right away to get this series started.
Absolutely. So we're gonna see here as we're teeing in here. Gonna be interesting to see if the chaotic play of Rebs' squad here on Zero Logic is gonna unshake the fantastic tanking line of Spanks Life Coaches here as we get into game 1. Alrighty, actually looking at it, it's looking like someone did not load in on one of the 2 squads. Yep, gonna end up resetting here as we did have a reload bug here for one of the squads. Gives us a little bit more time to tee up these 2 teams. Zero Logic proving that they may have only played a couple matches, but they are to be feared. Definitely giving themselves that chance to be one of the top teams in the league here, as it is starting to get a little bit crowded at the top of the table. As you were saying, Spanks Life Coaches drawing blood on what was believed to be the unkillable My Chemical Spence lineup. It's going to be interesting to see if if maybe Zero Logic is starting to be on the upcome and make it even harder for My Chemical Spence to actually break out that season win. But yeah, going to be interesting to see. Do we? One thing I'm wondering is if how Spanks Life Coaches is going to actually play, because they showed a number of different styles last night against My Chemical Spence. So it's going to be interesting to see if they start throwing Viper out onto that flank as they usually do, and then maybe if that doesn't work, reset into a more fundamental triple tank in front of the ball carrier, or if they're going to try something different entirely. Definitely, I've been in some conversations with different teams, and Spanks Life Coaches is one of them. And I've heard that they might be cooking up some different lineup tactics here to try and throw teams off if necessary. It'll be interesting to see if they bring any of those out tonight.
Against a team like My Chemical Spence, you do that intentionally, especially when you go for an 88-minute game. If you play the same strategy the entire time, you're basically asking for it. You're asking to lose. You're asking to get mollywopped against a team that is adaptive. And again, Zero Logic is one of those teams that adapts to you after the first game. They can chalk the first game like we just saw in that series and then come back and absolutely roll you the second too. So I think we'll start to see multiple looks out of this team for sure, but a very, very dominant and powerful tip-off on their side as they're able to retain the ball and walk away with it.
Absolutely. That's one thing that Spanks Up coaches have been very consistent at, and that's that their head coach here, Scullin, or head captain here, Scullin, has whipped them into shape and being able to get those tip-offs very reliably. And as we saw with against My Chemical Spence, once they have the ball, it's real hard to get it away from them. So it's going to be interesting to see if this lineup can actually keep that ball in their hands, not have those unforced errors, and just walk the Zero Logic lineup right back into their spawn and try and have a definitive win here to prove that last night was not a fluke. They are here to stay. And as I say that, Viper coming in on the flank on right side, the tanking line is just very methodically making space. Spank is going to be taken out, but it doesn't matter. All four dead. Rebs is dead. Viper's on the respawn. And like I said it, they are going to walk you right back into your spawn. It is a 1-0 here for Spanks Life Coaches. Going to be interesting to see if they keep this momentum rolling into game 2. Round 2, I should say.
That's the kind of surgical gameplay that they've been getting really, really hot with. I mean, you watch that last push; it was so synergetic, even off of the flank, that Viper called out that he was going to flank. Spank picked up perfectly on playing his inside, obviously letting him have the space to flank and get those kills, but keeping tight enough that when it was time, they just absolutely collapsed. Spank able to throw his body away, Viper coming in for the cleanup, Skullin playing right behind him. They both go to the opposite side and close out both spawns simultaneously. And Griff Beast, instead of the panic,
look at this,
casually walks it in. It's a clinic right now. This is a team that's finally hit its stride and is just super synergetic. They don't care about broken spawns. They're just walking this team down.
Absolutely clinical on the second round there. As you were talking, I was just watching as the two flanks developed, came out to the sides. Spank, the big man in the center, got his life coaches on either side of him, and he's able to hold that space and make it possible for the team to get a quick 2-0 right now onto this first game. But as we see, Zero Logic, they ain't going down without a fight. They will take this ball carry in, and it looks like they're going to come in here from the right side as Mav's going to the plate. Skullin trying to get in there. Can they get the hammer stop? Does not quite get it. A good punch there from Mav, and then it's going to be a quick 2-1 now as Zero Logic says, all right, look, I get it. You got 2 quick wins, but we ain't going down that easy, guys. The warmed-up team is here to play.
And it's those kind of plays that move so fast that you have to be aware of when you play this team, and you can't get so comfortable in the tanking that you're like, yeah, we could just walk this down. Like if you show the slightest opening, Zero Logic's going to take that. They don't care if they're down 4-1. They're going to play like it's 0-0, and they're still going to play with that same level of aggression. They're not going to turn it off. They're not going to turn off the quick plays. Mav just easily floating back and forth between their side of the court, getting a quick double kill, pushing this triple kill, going for the kill on Spank. Spank able to stay alive, but getting traded out. Mav
kill tack.
Somehow alive after 3 hammers go down on him. Rebs taking space. A good kill by Griff Beast, able to close out that push. Silent with the pushback on the flank, and they finally get it to rotate back to their side of the court where they can assert that pressure.
Interesting to see here. Rebs could have definitely gone for a far play there and go for the flank play. Instead, elects to come back and assist with the ball carrying duties as Rebs will take the ball here off of the throw. So a little bit difficult there when you got 2 people against you. Griffey's going to get that ball, yeet it to the stratosphere, back to himself essentially, as Skullin is going to be there ready to hand it right back off to his ball carrier. And we are right back into it here with Spanks Life Coaches. Good punch there from Griff Beast. We've definitely seen the growth here as a ball carrier from Griff Beast over the course of this season.
And that's one of the things that I love to see about, a lot of people get upset when we don't see an AMI League versus a Pro League, but like one of the things that do start to shine in some of the teams start to do really well. I think your team specifically, My Chemical, Ace Bands, and some of the other teams that have newer players, is the development that's able to come through. Like Griff Beast before, terrified to run the ball, terrified to get his punches, and as we just saw right there, not even flinching in a 2v1 situation. He's like, yeah, I'll take this punch. I'll wait this one out a little bit. I'll thrust forward, get this punch, and dunk this real quick. I don't need my sick tanking line behind me. I'll just handle it. So again, that confidence that comes with playing with all veterans, understanding the game, hearing what they have to say, and most importantly, retaining that and working off of it is going to be huge as, again, they take a massive lead in this series.
Absolutely. And on top of that is gelling, knowing when your teammate's gonna win that play and knowing when your teammate has met his match. And in that case, he knew Viper had his back, he knew Scullin had his back, and he knew that he could just run that in where he wanted, when he wanted, because he saw the opening. And so it's gonna be interesting to see if we can see a bounce back here from Zero Logic. They did manage to bounce back after 2 quick scores against them here in the first game, and it's gonna be interesting to see if they will actually strike back and bring us to a 2-3, or if they're gonna end up potentially coughing the ball back up and put us to a very quick game 1 end. So right now, it looks like Mav's going to be taken in here with Sev as the ball carrier. Rebs kind of filling in mid-space. Priest on respawners here. Rebs with a very aggressive attempt over Scullin there. Scullin, no slouch there on the tanking line. Unfortunately, will get taken by Mav. That's the Caster's Curse at work for you, everyone. And Rebs will actually get the best of Viper and Beast, looking to potentially get Scullin. Does get Scullin. Rebs is just on a clinic right now. Does finally meet their match in a rematch with Beast, as Beast is looking to potentially pull a Rebs sword here. Doesn't quite work, and is going to end up having to go right back to the hammer. Looks for Rebs. Griff Beast just not prepared for it. This is the one thing that is a potential exploitable part of Spanks Live Coaches, is that while he's good with the ball carrying, once it goes into standard tanking, Griff Beast is definitively the weaker of the tanks on their team, but the other 3 tanks typically tend to help remedy that problem, as well as the veterancy on the team to keep him in the game, keep him in the play, and keep those heads on straight. As I say that, though, we are at a crouch. Looks like someone might be at. Looks like Viper might have disconnected. As I say that, though, Reb's team is reinvigorating the game, and it looks like we're good to go. So it might have actually been someone on Rebs' line calling for a quick pause there, but ends up being nothing, as we're just going to bring us right back into this game. Spank taking that space. Mav trying to find space here. Not able to find it. Rebs is going to probably have to pass out. That is a rejection right at the plate here, potential. But no one's left alive as Spank gets traded, as does Viper, and it is right back into Sev's hands. All right, finding some space here from Rebs. Other tanks have been traded out. Priest trying to fill in. Rebs getting a kill there quickly. Spank trying to find some space against Rebs, and Priest does find it. Viper trying to fill in with his front tanking line here. The spacing is getting a little bit tight from that Spanks Live Coaches, and it does come in the form of betrayal on Scullin by Spank. Sev looking for some space here on the right side, trying to rotate away from that main tanking line. And we're starting to see from Zero Logic similar shades from what was happening to Junkyard Dogs, where they're having trouble actually finding space past the midfield.
Yeah, it's one of those situations that we talked about beforehand where you can go for as many IQ plays as you want, but if you don't keep that hammer pressure up, like we saw them start to pick up against Junkyard Dogs, like Priest is kind of MIA this game. He hasn't really shown up for us like he has before. Mav is obviously out here doing his thing. They need Priest and Rebs to get more aggressive. As I say that, Rebs getting a free double kill. Priest doing a good job of being synergetic. Viper chasing with the sword, but it looks like it might be too late. Able to stop the ball. Oh God.
Fantastic follow-up from what I believe was Mav. That was a fantastic follow-up with the ball carry in, that a very good initial hammer stop and sword stop collapsing from the Spanks Live Coaches lineup. Unfortunately, they lost count of how many people were against them there, and it ends up costing them into a 3-2 score line here, as Viper now has the ball ready to hand off to Griff Beast, their designated ball carrier. Griff Beast's going to pick that up. Scullin looking for some space, but ends up getting traded there. So it's going to just end up being kind of a standard lineup here, as we're seeing them kind of get corralled into the corner here. You really want to see some open space develop here, as Griff Beast does find that opening, will boost away, gets the punch. He is definitely free and away here. He's going to have to come back to his lineup, but he definitely played a very good play there to get some space for his team, get some reprieve, and pull the opposing team right back to their side.
Yeah, definitely running with confidence, which we like to see, which we kind of talked about a little bit earlier. But you can tell when runners start to make that switch and they start playing with confidence. A nice trade out by Griffey's too. So, and he's worked a lot on his hammer. It's not quite there as much as he'd like to, but Just the style of play, I think, has been exponentially been a major difference for this team and their ability to start steamrolling and getting these wins. Just knowing that they can trust him to get these punches, throw out like just like that at the right time. Maybe not so much against that same wall, but able to kind of give them more freedom to play as tanks because they're not really necessarily worried about babysitting the runner as much as they'd like to. So definitely like to see that out of them. But it looks like Zero Logic starting to get some traction here for sure. They're definitely getting more kills. Priest playing really smart, getting the kills that matter and kind of stopping that push. Holding Viper at Viper on the left side, not really going for the flank, more so team tanking as Spank really wraps, or that's Skullin wrapping that
Double kill at the plate.
creating a major space. Yeah, that's free.
Whoa! All right, overkill from Viper. Overshot the plate there a little bit from Griffbeast, but it's all right considering everyone on the opposing squad was dead. So, going to be a 4-2 scoreline here for Spanks Live Coaches as we are coming into game point on this first game of the match. Spank just freely gets the ball there, just yeets it back with Rebs right in tow. Spank, I don't think he was really paying attention to what was happening there. Luckily, Rebs ends up getting caught up with Spank and Griffbeast there on the respawners, so ball's going to be in Skullin's hand, passes it off to Griffbeast, and we're right back into that standard lineup here with Skullin trying to hold the space here, ends up coming back for his ball carrier, and allows for him to develop here on the right side. A little bit of trades here.
It's really nice to see Spank back at playing at this level. Like there's been several pushes here that he's really like honed in on being the anchor, not betraying, supporting the ball runner, getting those free kills like we just saw on right side, and knowing how to play off both Skullin and Viper at the same time has been exponential in this team's growth. Obviously, people want to blame it on the shift back to hybrid for him now that he's finally got his setup back. But I think his IQ is just unlocked. He's playing with a clarity that we used to see when he was on a top-notch team, and he was widely regarded as one of the best tanks of the league. And he's getting back to that form, easily getting a double kill right here, supporting his runner as they continue to shift back and forth. But Zero Logic getting big pressure on the play here.
Ooh, unfortunate miss on that punch there. Pass to Mav is very aggressive. That again, not on the same page from the Zero Logic lineup. They wanted to just immediately get that score. Potentially some cracks showing here, or it's just going to be their very aggressive playstyle that we were seeing in the previous match. Ends up being a betray on Skullin there. Griffbeast does not end up getting killed there with the ball on the left side. All tanks dead, though. Griffbeast's going to have to look for that throw out and does time it properly, does not get rejected. Ball is in Skullin's hands now as the Spanks Life coaches are trying to find a semblance of stability here on the left side of the field.
Been great tanking from the side of Zero Logic. Definitely very synergistic plays. Seb starting to pick up a little bit, too.
Oh, my God.
Rebs with a sick double sword.
Spank with a...
Mav in the air.
You can tell Spank not very versed in normally being the sword carrier there, because it had a very unfortunate point-blank miss on the sword. So he's going to be wanting to have that one back. As we're going to take a quick second here to do a stat check-in. Griffbeast, negative 15 as the ball carrier. He's been doing pretty well just keeping the ball away from the opposing lineup. He ends up dying a lot in that case where he gets sorted by Rebs. Actually, as I'm saying this, though, it's getting a little bit tight here on the side of the Spanks Live coaches as they're trying to run it right in with Sev. Sev's at 1 health, ends up turning the ball over on the side, and Griffbeast will run it away. Quick attempted force play there from Zero Logic, and unfortunately does not bear any fruit for their lineup.
I mean, Seb's got to play on the hip of Rebs right there. Rebs had a free walk-in.
Yeah.
But Seb with the backstep predicting that there was going to be a spawn in on his side, really, again, gave that half-second hesitation that lost him the goal right there.
Yeah, definitely. It likely, at a minimum, it would have been a higher chance of scoring if he had stayed to Rebs. Obviously, we don't know whether or not there might have been a double kill or a hammer stop there at the plate, but definitely would have loved to see them play a little bit more aggro on there if they're going to play that kind of aggro play. You gotta go everything on the wall there. You just have to run it in, hope for the best, and if it doesn't work, well, hey, you tried, the ball's all the way on the opposing side of the field, you got some time to respawn. So Griffbeast here filling in as, again, we're going to try and talk about stats if the teams will cooperate and let me talk about it. But as I say that, Skullin, okay, he does end up getting traded out.
Some time, yep.
Now I got some time. So it looks like Viper and Spank both at a +4. Skullin really showing that prowess on tanking with a +17. Griffbeast, like I said, is -13 now, but as the ball carrier and being against Rebs' sword, it ends up being that if he doesn't turn the ball over too much, he's going to die a little bit more often. because of those throwouts, but he isn't going to give away those scores. That is an unfortunate timing on that boost. Can't do that when the ball carrier is that close, and unfortunately is going to be a costly turnover. As I say, he doesn't turn over the ball. Griffey's turns over the ball, and it's going to be a 3-4 scoreline here as Zero Logic is making them fight tooth and nail for every point they get.
Yeah, again, it's one of those scenarios that I could hear Coach in the back of my head saying, you got to push out on that spawn. While they were pushing it on the right side of that last push, we saw Scullin and Griffey spawn and then instantly start backpedaling, giving up way too much free space to tank and ball. And it doesn't even matter if you get that kill at that point anymore because you just gave up, 10 feet of space. So we got to start to see a more collective push out when it comes to that. Dedicate your wall runner, everybody else push out, and kind of make room so that way you don't get, just a free goal given to them essentially.
Absolutely. And again, a free goal given, as you say it. Griffey's just didn't find places to stand there. I don't know if there was a fall apart in the comms or what happened, but it was just a very, very unfortunate error for the Spanks Life Coaches lineup. As we are at 4-4, this is a full game score, as next point will take the game and put us into a game 2 scenario where one of these teams is going to be wishing that they had clutched it up a little bit sooner. Ball carrier is kind of on his own here. No help as Sev is slowly ushering him back in with the sword. Griffey's doing a good job holding him back, though. Fantastic positioning from the ball carrier, as now the Zero Logic lineup trying to get in here on the Spanks Life Coaches lineup. Scullin will say no to that. Pushback Sev, takeout Sev. He's still got one on respawns. If they can just keep the numbers on respawns here, unfortunate betrayal trying to go for that team tank in. If they can keep someone on respawns and make it real hard for the Zero Logic lineup to be alive, it could definitely spell the end of this game very quickly. Reb's not getting that trade there. So, actually, wait, did he get that trade? He did get that trade.
Yeah,
I am
he
wrong.
got that trade. That was the opposite. If Viper would have gotten that kill, it would have been a drastic
absolutely
different scenario. Viper going straight to plate right now with the call out, but not able to keep his tanks alive. Ball getting one shot. Viper going down in the process. And it's that could have been real scary for the side of Zero Logic if Viper continues to stay alive on this flank.
What is
Zero Logic sneaking a sword through, but a nasty punch from Griffbeast, again developing that confidence.
I gotta say, Mav and Scullin had a hell of a circus play there where both of them just couldn't stop missing each other with the hammer point blank. It was a little bit weird, but ends up being in Scullin's favor, as like you said, that sword came through. If Mav doesn't get killed there, that's a turnover again in their own side. Spank is on a different level right now. Unfortunately, won't get it. Does force the betrayal on Rebs there as Viper and Scullin trying to fill back in. Rebs will get, but unfortunately, that's going to be Mav taking that space. Mav gets killed by Spanks. Scullin holding on to the space on the right side as, again, the Spanks Life Coaches lineup is trying to keep that pressure on, make it real hard for the Zero Logic lineup to find space. Rebs tries to get the kill, does get it on Spank, but doesn't get it on Viper. Viper gets the double kill, doesn't quite get the kill. It is in constant pressure right now. The ball gets turned over, and that's going to be Sev holding onto the ball and tossing it right back out to his teammate Mav on the far right side.
I'm just glad you finally got a breath.
Yeah.
Holy shit, I thought you were going to suffocate for a minute, but definitely live action plays. This is what we call 4-4 Griffball, and Spank absolutely playing out of his mind,
Viper!
Still staying alive with a triple kill. Spank is absolutely unbelievable right now as he's floating in between both sides of the spawn. Somehow
turnover,
both sides down. They get a free pick. Spank is still
my god!
Holding on to the ball and staying alive, playing out of his mind, trading it off to his runner, and then going back for more blood on the retake.
Absolutely unhinged play from Spankatron there as he gets a double kill. Oh, if he got that triple, I'd have someone say check him PC, because that man would have been on cloud 9.
Oh, I was screaming PC check after our last game because that was absolutely astronomical. But this man is just, like I said, playing with a different level of venom in his system and not taking no for an answer, absolutely dominating the court, getting another free kill here, goes for a trade out, somehow stays alive and stays in formation with the push. They're going to get a big trade out of that Viper kill. Spank staying alive right now. Spank is honestly the problem at this point. If you're Zero Logic, we got to get him out of here if we want to stop this push.
Absolutely. Like I said, he was on essentially an even score keel. He is now up to a +10, and that is and counting in this game. Doesn't get traded there by the sword on Rebs, and it's going to look like they are resetting here. Spank, unfortunately, getting betrayed by Scullin to secure that kill on Rebs, and it's going to be, again, just kind of a trading back and forth and back and forth. Finally finding some opening here as Skullen's going to open up the right side. Maybe Viper looking for that left-sided flank. As I say, he comes screaming in and gets traded out by Priest. So it's going to be a rejection on that push. Skullen almost getting that opening on Mav. My God, like you said, it is 4-4 Griff ball here. Viper diving into the opposing lineup, does not find anything from it. Ends up being +5 right now on the scoreline. Going to take a quick second here to just talk about the scoreline from Zero Logic. Zero Logic, you're here seeing a -23 from Sev. You're seeing a -17 from Priest, -15 from Rebs, and +5 from Mav. It really feels like this shouldn't be as close as it is based on the tanking numbers, but Viper does find that opening on the left side. We might see a pass play here, the rare pass play potential from Spanks Live coaches, as they are so averse to doing these passing plays. But the double pincer here.
If Spank was able to take that kill home and Skullen was able to stay alive for a second longer, I think that would have been a different game. But
absolutely,
unfortunately for them, they're able to clean up those kills. Reb's kind of throwing his life away with a sword right there. Spank able to clean up a double kill, and Spank's playing again at a consistent level, anchoring this right wall. Viper kind of coming back into the tanking fold and not playing on the spine, and Griffey's just kind of fighting for his life. Doesn't want to go back to the corner, doesn't want to give up that much space, but might have to as Zero Logic continues to apply that pressure, kind of coming up court. Silent Viper going down. We got Rebs playing up court, Spank trying to hold space, Skullen getting traded out, Viper on the respawn, coming back up mid-court. Griffey's just doing his best to stay alive, dance, not go for the punch. Viper getting a kill, but getting traded out immediately. They need some space to work with here, and they're just not getting it.
Absolutely. But to their credit, the Grace under pressure, where right now they've stayed under pressure for about 3 minutes of this 4-4 grip ball. Can he get the throw out? Does get the throw out to Skullen. That was a last-second throw, and Skullen's got nothing but wide open court in front of him as they might look for a pass play back. Does get the punch. I mean this in the nicest way for Skullen. A rare successful punch from Skullen, and doesn't end up trading the ball back. And so Viper will have the ball. Yeah, that is true. And so Griffbeast will get that ball back from Viper, and they end up holding on to possession there. Fantastic play from the, as I say that, turnover. Brutal turnover potential. Oh my God, Skullen and co here on Spanks Live coaches are really counting their stars. Specifically, Griffey's counting his stars that was not the turnover that cost the game, because he would really have wanted that one back.
They're going tit for tat here, kill for kill, trade for trade. It's like watching a game of chess unfold live and almost getting a nasty trade out of the side of Mav. But Viper coming up court, Spank able to follow right behind, get that kill.
Ooh, they've got momentum.
Viper getting another kill.
Oh.
Taking Spank with him, unfortunately. That's one of those unfortunate betrayals that we hate to see. But still maintaining space, a lot more space than they had to work with before.
Absolutely. But as we saw there, like when they got the momentum, as soon as they had the momentum, they were steamrolling. And as I say that, Viper is just chilling at the plate here on the right side. Still chilling on the plate, pushing on to Rebs. There is no one at the plate besides Viper. Viper, unfortunately, the throw play was blocked. So Griffbeast did not feel comfortable going for the toss play. He doesn't want to force it there. You could see it in his eyes that he wanted it. Rebs pushing him all the way back, and that's going to put them right back onto their own side as they kind of try to reset here with a lot of trades at the midcourt. Swords right near the plate here, but luckily Spank and Viper will fill in and get some reprieve for their ball carrier. Good team tanking there from Viper and Skullen, taking out Mav and Sev as they're going to try and hold space here, waiting for Spank to fill back in. They need the big anchor, the big man in the center to find that space, to find that second gear and bring them into the plate. Absolutely. Viper has got the push. He's got Rebs, ends up getting the trade. Spank is on the plate, tries to go for the punch play. Good boost back by Griffbeast. It is a 1v2 scenario. If he had stuck to Skullen there, might have played. Fantastic IQ to stay back given the double swords that were spawning. That would have definitely gotten me if I were in his scenario. Sword passes through the tanking line. Ball carrier is on his own. Does get the beat on Rebs. Looking for the pass here from Griffbeast. Griffbeast does get the punch. Viper is still keeping the pressure on. Kills Priest. Skullen had time to come in here. Gets Rebs. And they're pushing to the plate. They've got the kill. They do not have the score. The turnover at the plate as Mav has the ball and punches Spank. What a fantastic play.
Where it's just one more second gets you that goal. But that that blood pressure kicks in, that adrenaline kicks in. You're like, I gotta go. But just super well played on the side of Mav and Zero Logic. Mav not throwing his life away, not going for the tank there, instead giving space, letting the runner feel comfortable enough to go for that, and then sliding in at the last minute with a cheeky hammer stop, getting possession
Overkill.
back in it. Zero Logic's rolling right now. We might see this. We might see a push.
No
Able to
tanks.
hold on, and this is back and forth grip ball. This is getting intense, but this is what we love to see out of a 4-4 scenario, with two teams just absolutely duking it out.
Absolutely. And we are, by the way, we are at 9 minutes. I'm very interested to see if this round alone is half of the game already, because it was a very tit for tat back and forth game up until this 4-4 Griffball. This is what we play this game for, everybody, as we are going deep in. Scullin has already cracked 100 kills, and Rebs has cracked 100 deaths, as Scullin has the ball here, trying to look for some space here. Spank just says no thank you to Rebs on that sword. Mav ends up getting traded back by Scullin, and they are rolling here for Spanks Live Coaches on the right side. Viper looking for that opening on the left side. He does have an opening, but soon those tanks are going to come right back to him. They do, and Rebs is just going to walk that tank, or walk that ball all the way back. Spanks Live Coach is going to look to see if they can get their tanking line reset here, develop some momentum, and get that final push into the score. Viper with a fantastic double kill.
Viper.
A fantastic double ends up giving them a ton of space, forces Rebs to come back to Viper and make it so that they don't get those kills. But you still have Mav behind. Priest also on the line here. Scullin is deep in this lineup here, as Scullin will have the ball, looks for the punch potential on Sev, forces the boost and potential to throw it back to his ball carrier. But smartly, they're keeping the ball on Scullin for now, as there's just no space for them to toss it back to the ball carrier, leaving them in this very odd transition state where they'd really like to get out sooner rather than later. Finally tossing out to the side of Griff Beast here, does get the pickup and is back in the ball carrier's hands.
I mean, this is just brutal when we see the back and forth go on, and it's honestly incredible that these teams are hanging in there. But this is the type of game that you love to see out of both of these sides, where everybody's playing cohesively. Even Zero Logic is starting to hit a flow state. So
Good punch.
It's more so a war of attrition as to who's going to make the first critical mistake first. And unfortunately for both of these teams, neither side is really willing to give an inch. They both had turnovers on the plate. They both had turnovers on their side of the court, but both defenses prevailing on that side. Oh, we're about to see a big pressure. If that would have been a double kill, I think we would have seen a different game. But maybe, and Zero Logic able to take the ball back, and they have one on
double
plate.
Swords on the ball.
Plate is getting played up, but they throw it back. Oh, we got a lurker on the plate. Viper going for it. They see two. They're going to send Griff Beast and Silent Viper, able to trade that out. Spank doing a great job holding that mid, but we got somebody else going through the plate, able to trade out, and just not a lot of capitalization and a lot of playing chicken with this ball from Sev as they stay on their side of the court and just wait for tanks to respawn.
I gotta tell you, it feels like fate here that Spanks Life Coaches played a very similar game against My Chemical Aspens not 24 hours ago, where you just have this very arduous attrition game where you're just constantly trading, constantly punching back and forth, tit for tat, and you're really looking to see if they're going to be able to take advantage of that experience that they now have against that team, a much stronger lineup by most people's assessment. And we're going to see if now cracking into the 12th minute of the round, not the game, just the round here, as again checking in on these stats, everyone except Griff Beast on Spanks Live Coaches have cracked 100 kills. We are at 100 flat and counting from Viper, 106 from Spank, and 121 from Scullin. He is at a plus 40, and the turnover.
That was a definitely not needed punch that you cannot get on Viper. Viper wants you to take that punch 10 times out of 10, and he's going to make you pay for it 10 times out of 10. That was really, really sloppy on the side.
Oh, God. What is that choice?
Oh, my God.
Holy.
Dunked it on him right after I say that in another brutal takeaway, but we're just flip-flopping, and what could be a giant takeaway from either side is quickly getting nullified as they get these kills. But Scullin,
oh my God, no one's dying though.
Really getting paid attention to.
Yep, Viper ends up getting traded finally. I was about to say double kill by Spank. It is a 2v2. That's a 3 from Spank. Scullin's got to push to the plate. Unfortunately, does not get that kill on Priest. If he gets it on Priest again, we might have gone to a final score here. 13 minutes into this game. We just cannot find any give from either lineup. Both teams going tit for tat. When one side gets a triple kill, the other team gets the reciprocal double and brings the game right back to an even keel as Spank is trying to find purchase. Skullen is trying to find the space. They pull the pressure from Rebs. Skullen gets traded by Sev, and they're pushed right back to their side of the court. My God, Rain, when is this game gonna end?
I don't know, but I hope for your sake soon, so that way you can get some water in you. But I mean, this is what we pay for. This is what the fans come to see. This is what everybody gets everybody hype about playing Griffball. It's not one-sided matches, but matches that are just an absolute grind, just a sweat fest of who's gonna make that move, who's gonna get the most kills, who's gonna play for their team. But both teams really show.
Spank with the reload. Oh my God!
Get the triple kill, stay alive, keep the space. Oh my God, a fourth piece for him. He wants it. They want this score. Shrek's in the comms calling out that they're gonna score in the next 2 minutes, and I don't know, man. This has been going back and forth for what, 7
Overkill by Skullen. Yeah.
Just in this one round.
This one round, we're at 14.5 minutes in just this one round, and the back and forth nature, like. There's already the pressure of being on a round 9. We remember 12 minutes ago when the Halo music was still playing. We have been here for so long that almost an entire game of Griffball could have been played within this Griffball game, based on what we saw last series. Last series, the Zero Logic lineup played an entire match in this one timetable of because they had an 8-minute game. Now, finally, ball almost gets turned over, but Griffby's going to hold on to that ball anyways. And again, like I said, we can see the difference in the tanking line as to why they're able to hold on. They're almost going to crack 400 kills between their 3 tanks on the Spanks Life Coach lineup as they're past 300, and I believe that's 370. And meanwhile, on the Zero Logic lineup, only one person has cracked 100, and Rebs is still 9 kills away from cracking 100. So it is just a grueling attritional style of Griffball here as Griffbees gets that punch on Sev. There ends up being a stoppage here in play. Wild to have stoppage in a round 9. Insane, as let's keep in mind we were at 1540 when this game stopped. So when we're talking later about how long this game truly went, we can take into account about 3 minutes of 2 or 3 minutes of stoppage earlier in the game itself, and probably potentially another couple minutes here as I'm trying to see. You hate to see it.
You hate to see it in a situation like this, though, where it's 4-4 and it's been back and forth, because this is where teams get iced, right? You have your strategy, everybody's in the flow state, everybody's moving, everybody's going, and then you take this break, and I feel like every time we take this break, almost immediately after the break, somebody just takes a free kill and slams it in. So I hope that we don't see that here. I hope we get to see a little bit more of this back and forth before we see a goal. But shit, we got to move on to game 2. This is game 1 of this series that has now lasted 45 minutes just for the first game. Absolutely insane.
Oh my God. Remember what I was saying before all these matches played, is that I was really hoping that Spanks Life coaches weren't going to go on another 80-minute plus bender. From what I can tell, that's what we're getting.
I feel bad.
Hey, here's the thing. Here's the thing that this team could take solace in. They're getting a ton of practice in long games. This is something that you can very rarely practice.
Look astronomical, and you know that these boys have been bloodthirsty for the stats to see that updated post, because after their past 2 games where every game goes and they're at 130, 145, 150 kills like this, they're farming at this point. I think we could have scored this a while ago, but this might just be a quick stat farm to get everybody on the Team S Plus before they dunk it on us. So
absolutely. It'll be interesting to see, but since we've got a moment, I'll take a look at the stats here. Like I was saying, we've got, as I say that, of course, they start the game. So we're right back into it, everyone, as Viper will get traded out on the right side. Spank looking to here on the left side. Skullen trying to fill in mid. You'd really like to see the tank go in front of the ball carrier here, but they are just kind of posturing here on this left side. Viper finding immediate purchase on the right side, but gets killed by Rebs there. Rebs getting traded right back by Spank. And Spank going up in the air, not going to find anything too crazy there. And unfortunately, it's kind of just going to stall the game here again as we crack 18 minutes. There was about a 2.5 minute stoppage there as we are here on round 9 of game one of this match. This is not game 2. This is not game 3. This is game 1. So we are in for the long haul here with Spanks Life Coaches as Spank finds kill there on Sev, gets traded back by Mav. Skullin gets the trade, but Rebs trades right back as Viper looking for more kills, gets the double. Potential. Call it a triple. Call it a triple here as Spank is going to fill in with Skullin on the left and mid side. Spank gets traded. Skullin's looking at the plate. Griff wants it. He wants to go for that play. Viper wants it just that much harder. Unfortunately, won't find it. Griff Beast will manage to come back and won't turn over the ball as we're nearing cracking the 19-minute mark. This round might take longer than the entirety of the Zero Logic Junkyard Dogs series at this rate, folks. But as I say that, Viper is finding space. I'm wanting to cast a curse at this point. That's why I'm saying it. Is that at some point the game has to give. Oh my lord.
He said, "I don't care if it's a win-lose at this point, but we gotta keep it. We gotta keep it moving.
We gotta play."
So round 1 of game 2 can also go for 20 minutes.
Oh, the turnover! As I say it, turnover at the plate, and it's not like this, not like this. 20 minutes, and that's what it comes down to. Oh my god! A heartbreaker for Spanks Life Coaches, a relief for Zero Logic as they continue to prove that eventually, if they bash their head into a wall enough times, they will eventually find the win. As that is game 1, 35 minutes on the clock. Pull back 3 minutes for stoppage. It is still over a half hour spent on game 1.
Yeah, that's astronomical, and you hate to see it because you know.
Look at the stats.
It could be anything, but you wanna talk about like how frustrating it is to have a stoppage, especially just because somebody spams Spanks Xbox. That's tough. That's really hard to hear, and you hate to see that because when you're locked, you want anything to unlock you.
It is
that is
the stat line. Besides Mav, Zero Logic had a negative 100 combined. Negative 80 if you include Mav there with a positive 20. Meanwhile, Skullin positive 44? That alone should win you series. Insane game 1. I was about to say series. That was just game 1. My god. Yeah, and meanwhile, Zero Logic got to be feeling it. They still have another series after this.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you look at this game, and if after the past 3 series, Skullin's not in your top 5 of players in the league, you're absolutely on one. He's now dropped in 3 back-to-back games, plus 30 plus games. So he was plus 32 in the game 2 series against My Chemical Ace Spence. He was plus 39 the game after that. He's plus 44 here. Like this brother is just on an absolute roll. He's tearing it up, and it's one of those things where you hate to see the break in the play because now everybody wants to blame it on the break. You want to blame it on this. You can blame it on getting cold. You can blame it on out positioning. But either way, Zero Logic going to take away a huge show-stopping play from that to close out that first game 1 at a 5-4.
Absolutely. And it just you hate to see it from the team from Spanks Life Coaches, as unfortunately they will fall in this game 1. But if you're Zero Logic, your efforts are being rewarded here as you had this just barn burner of a first game. You still got a whole nother series to play, and they ain't showing any signs of any cracks from the long night that they've got ahead of them and the long night they've had so far. Oh my god. Well, for the moment, we're just going to take a brief pause here between games, and it looks like there's a quick bathroom. Actually, we might be going in. There might have been the bathroom break, as it looks like both teams are already checking.
He probably just went to the bathroom in his pants right there. I mean, that was a crazy,
absolutely.
That was a crazy long game. We just got to get this over with before. I mean, rest in peace to Sev. Sev's got not only this game, but a potentially game 3, and then a whole another series after this on an EU connection. That's brutal, brother.
I hope he had no plans tomorrow, because he might be there till 5 in the morning his time at this rate. My lord, the game is we're launching into game 2 here. All right, boys and girls, let's strap in for another one. Who thinks we're in for another 30-minuter? My god, game 2 here. Zero Logic, Spanks Life Coaches. Let's see if Spanks Life coaches can bounce back from that unfortunate ending there. See if they can come off to the start that they had in game 1 and keep that rolling. Because in reality, they really should have taken that in 5-1, 5-2 fashion.
Yeah, I think that now that this team is relocked, I think they're going to play with a lot of venom on this one, and I think we're going to start to see maybe a game like we did against the Junkyard Dogs, where it's now we're playing speedball. Now it's not so much let's wait, let's reset. It's go 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 at all times, and no breaks in between.
Absolutely. So we got Griff Beast here having the ball, and I'd be interested to see if they're going to play that fast play style. But as I'm looking at it here, they kind of just seem like they're falling into their normal style so far, where they're just going to try to, attrition them back out and hope that it goes their way this time around. As they're just getting trades here in the center. Spank looking for an opening. He's got an opening to the plate here on the mid to right side here. Viper trying to create that opening for Griff Beast. Spank does not get that trade, but Viper will trade it back on Mav. Viper's got some space, but again, the trades. This is one thing that the Zero Logic is showing here is honestly they've got 4 fantastic tanks. All 4 players are fantastic players in their own right. They take into account what their teammates are doing. They fill in where is necessary, and they very rarely are going to make those mistakes that are going to be glaringly obvious to make an opening for the opposing squad to fill in. As Viper finds that opening on left side, Skullen's got to find a kill here on the right side if they want to get it in. Does get the kill there, looking for a potential punch, but unfortunately Rebs is right behind it. Honestly, it's probably for the best that he did whiff that punch, because otherwise Rebs was going to immediately turn that ball right back over.
For sure. Definitely good on Griff Beast to stay away right there. Hate to see that tanking line break down too. They had momentum for a little bit with Viper on the right side of the plate, Skullen staying alive, but Spank getting traded out, Skullen not able to get the double, which he probably should have got with the range that he had on both of the spawners, but only able to take one and trade it out at that. Griff Beast kind of maintaining spawns here. Rebs trying to play his sword, Priest playing his life, Sev on the refrag if he misses this, but Sev able to hold space. Pop the runner a little bit, not shields pop, but able to do a little bit of damage as Zero Logic able to hold for this defense. Sev getting a nasty
kill. God.
Rebs trying to sneak in that extra sword. Almost gave it to Set. Oh, Sev with a quick swap, but not able to bring it down as Griff Beast starts to play keep away and a little bit of hopscotch as he bounces from left to right, over and over again.
Absolutely. And finally, they're going to find some space here in the mid to opposing side of the field. Spank trying to find space. Rebs with a betrayal there on Mav, giving a ton of open space here to Spank. Spank, who is going to take full advantage of a mistake like that. Skullen trying to fill in here, trying to tank in. Viper just come across the plate, and it is a calamity for the Zero Logic lineup as Spank's Life coaches will take full advantage of the slightest mistake and completely gouge out your eye. Finally,
they just gotta. This is the problem and the pitfall that we see Skullen's team falling into all the time, though, where it's like you get all the way to the plate, right, and then everybody's so focused on team tanking that we just stall out. We just stop playing aggressive. We stop taking our foot on the gas, and you give that team time to respawn. If you give Zero Logic time to respawn, they're gonna push you back out. They're
Absolutely.
gonna send the swords. They're gonna get the kills that they need, and they're gonna push out. But right there, they did an excellent job of even with the deaths, still holding forward and pushing that space and just running.
Skullen's still alive,
which is exactly what was needed.
What just happened there? Skullen pitched the ball away in between 2 opposing players and didn't die, so he managed to hold the space there on the right side, making this pushback by Zero Logic that much harder. Betrayal by Mav on Sev there. Sev was going to have a free sword there on Viper, potentially shoving the Spank Life coaches lineup right back into their side, but instead, Spank is going to get a trade there in the center. Rebs is looking for it. Good hammer there by Viper. Going to bail out his ball carrier, who looked like he might have actually whiffed on that punch. So they're looking for an opening here. Viper getting the kill on Rebs, looking to crash the plate. They're looking to crash the plate here as Mav is going to go right by. Oh my God, so close on that play. But they're not going to be able to close it out as Rebs will take that ball away. Griff Beast was inches from that second score, and he's either
like the aggression there.
Absolutely.
I still like the aggression there.
Absolutely. I feel like that aggression is necessary to make the opposing squad respect your play, because otherwise they're not going to respect that you're going to actually crash the plate.
If you're going to turn over the ball, I'd rather it be right there on plate and give. I mean, Spank was right there for the refrag opportunity. Unfortunately, he had two people spawn on top of his side, which is just unfortunate. But I mean, if you're like I said, if you're going to turn the ball over instead of turning it over back and forth on your side of the plate, turn it over on theirs. Make
Good
them
kill
play
by
and
Griff
make them
there.
play defense.
Griff with a fantastic play there, taking
Somehow he
advantage of
lived the
mistakes.
double hammer too. That was insane.
Man, sometimes God and anime are on your side, and right now it looks like Spanx Life coaches have tapped into that energy.
I think that brother's got God and acid on his side, but he's locked in regardless.
You may be right. You may be right. As Griffbeast is kind of stuck in this tanking role that he really doesn't want to be in, and Viper at the same time is stuck as the ball carrier that he also doesn't want to be in. So you're kind of stuck in this corner as they're finally going to get forced to throw it out over to the Griffbeast respawn. Griffbeast runs right into the Fed kill as now Priest has the ball. Ball's going to get pitched back to Rebs, and it really didn't cost him anything. Real unfortunate spacing there. A lot of kills.
Right
that
now.
is
a bird.
oh my God!
Pass too.
Dart of a pass, but at the same time, that could have been a hammer stop. Unfortunately, we'll put it.
Thrusted right there. All they had to do was swing, and
they
just
did.
thrusted right by.
That was, I believe, Scullin on the respawn there. Unfortunately, panicking at the plate. This is something that every team drills, is to not panic on the plate when you're respawning, because if you do, you're going to cost your team scores. Griffbeast, though, clutching up on that kickoff there. Going to take the ball back as we're here into round 3. So far, these rounds have been staying at a much more normal length of 2 to 5 minutes rather than, 19. So it's going to be interesting to see if we see that pace stay or if we're going to be in for another barn burner as the left side collapses for Spanx Life coaches. Good punch out from Griffbeast here on Priest, looking for that opening. Viper tried to get past the tanking line, wanted to potentially go for a fast play, get the kill on Priest, and look for a potential pass play score maybe, but instead Spank will trade out. Double kill from Viper as Scullin is trying to fill in on the right side, not respecting the Mav space there, and unfortunately it is going to stall out this push. Scullin getting an opening here in the mid side as Viper will get traded by Priest. Mav and Rebs trying to fill in, Sev trying to fill in that backside. What I'd be very interested to see here is that a handful of teams, only a couple teams have tried it. A couple teams have been testing the waters on the launch and have yet to see either team here try to test the waters on that, as they've really not been looking for that kind of play. And I'm curious, since neither team's really been looking for that play, if either team is ready to receive that play. As I say that, lots of pressure on the ball carrier, turnover onto Sev. Sev does get the pass out, and forget what I'm saying because it's just going to be a turnover as Rebs will have the ball here for Zero Logic. Zero Logic finally getting a hold of the ball into this round 3. Sev kind of at the plate here as Mav and Priest trying to hold some space here. Rebs collapsing in to give them a stop gate, a bit of a pressure release valve here on the right side. It does get the kill on Griffbeast. There's a run on the plate here potential as Rebs gets another kill. Rebs gets another kill, gets traded back, and you need to not panic at the plate here if you're Spanx Life coaches. Otherwise, you're going to be given over another score. And luckily, they clutch it up. They hold him back, and they give that tanking line a piece of their mind as they get the double kill there by Rebs. Rebs gets killed by Scullin, and we're just again stalled out here in the midfield.
Yeah, it's I think we're in for another long one. Maybe not as long as that other game that we just came out of, but it's definitely still giving off that same energy of, hey, this is a back and forth. These games.
Ball gets past a Viper because of a breakdown at the
just
line.
that,
Breakdown at the spawns here. Absolutely slaughtering at the plate, and Griffbeast showing that aggression immediately goes into the face of death and puts it to a 2-1 scoreline. Fantastic pressure from Spanx Life coaches.
Spank, if you're listening right now, your girl just said that she loves you, but she's got to go. And she knows that you're going to win this match. You got to fucking tee up.
Man's got to do it for the girls, do it for the fans, as finally that ball is going to turn back onto Griffbeast here, as Spanx Life coaches will again win that tip-off. They've been showing a fair amount of consistency on tip-off here. No pro runs allowed, no fast plays allowed by Rebs' team. The only fast plays allowed to Zero Logic have been the plays that, oh my God, as I say that, a costly turnover on their side. Every single score, I feel like I'm saying it, that Spanx Life coaches are turning the ball over within feet of their plate rather than somewhere else.
Dude, I hate that name for them. We gotta change. We gotta limit the team names to be 2 words at most.
As I say it, a pro run coming in here. The team is falling apart. They weren't even ready. It is now 3-2. The Zero Logic team is on pace here to put us to a 2-0 and win their first series without going to game 3.
We don't want to speak too soon. Definitely another huge Sev. All we gotta do is go for the ball there, brother. Why are we going for the swing? That's tough. That's a tough takeaway for them. But seeing it in the hands of Griff Beast and the gang, Viper getting another big kill, able to follow up Skullin right behind him. They're starting to push plate. They're starting to gain some momentum. Reb's able
And
to
it's
push
gone.
that back. Mav staying alive, and all 4 are up on the side of Zero Logic. Viper getting a nice, what would have been a double kill, but able to be stopped by Mav. Sev and Priest doing their best to maintain space. Rebs playing that wall anchor, not letting them get past the half-court mark without a fight. Rebs going through in the air, but not really doing much there, but throwing away his life. Mav whiffing on one of those kills. Priest able to follow behind and get it up, but Priest is getting slammed. That's Spank with another 2-piece, huh?
Absolutely.
Another big kill 2-piece.
Absolutely gets the third there. Ends up trading with Priest. And finally, Viper's going to come in here, get a critical double. Can Skullin stay alive? Skullin gets traded. If Skullin doesn't die there so quickly, you end up getting a fast play. Reload from Spank, and that's a double kill. Immediately puts the pressure right back on Zero Logic as Skullin is coming in here against Mav. Mav gets killed by Viper. Viper gets killed by Priest. And Spank is somehow still alive with the betrayal on Rebs by Sev. And they've got to put the pressure on. They've allowed them to respawn.
Good play by Mav.
Fantastic play by Zero Logic to keep him out, but man, you have to think if they played aggressive there from Spanks Live coaches, you might have actually seen another quick score there and put us to a 3-3 scoreline. Instead, ball carrier gets killed by the sword, and we're to a 4-2 scoreline. Griff Beast is in his head. He's not able to keep the ball in his hands. He's turning the ball over to Rebs or Sev with a sword 3 times now in this one game. We've really got to see them get back on even keel, get back to a 0-0 mindset, and bring this game to a full court press at this point, because we're now at a game point, match point, as Viper gets another kill. The ball is in Griff Beast's hands. Viper's got the kill there at the plate. They've got to find the kills if they want to get the point here, but unfortunately it's a double sword on the ball carrier. We had a sword stop. Somehow the ball does not get turned over to Priest, and Skullin will now have the ball in his hands. Oh my God! Spanks Live coaches finally got the ball back in Griffey's hands, and we are looking at another very long game if Spanks Live coaches want to bring us to a game 3.
A nice kill out of Skullin. Spank staying alive here. Mav trading Spank out. Skullin on the refrag here, but does not have enough thrust to get there. It's just Zero Logic is playing very pinpoint defense right now. If you watch their positioning, Mav has solo anchored a lot of these pushes, holding it off, playing excellent defense, not playing aggressive with the runner, just playing space, dancing back and forth, staying mobile so that way you don't understand which way he's going, and allowing his team to get reset up for the respawn, for the kills, getting the space that they need. And Spanx Life Coach is having a really hard time adapting to that. They're so reliant on just pushing forward and holding forward, but right now it seems like they're starting to play a little bit more passive. They're not going for the same aggression.
Yeah.
Zero Logic is just basically able to do whatever they want to, pushing the ball back to the corner over and over again. Viper getting traded out, Mav staying alive, Nasty Swords coming in.
Good throwaway.
Out. That's Rebs' ball.
That is Rebs' ball. And as I say, that Mav's still alive here. Still going to ends up passing it back to Sev. And we go back into a standard lineup here for Zero Logic. Rebs is still alive. And they are crashing the plate here. Ball is potentially pushing in. Mav looking for the play, but unfortunately will get traded back. My God. Oh, turnover as Viper goes for a nasty sword. And he says, I don't give a... Rebs saying, I don't give a crap. Oh my God. It is chaos here as both teams are trying to put their foot down onto the throat of their opposing line. My God, this game is all gas, no brakes right now as compared to that barn burner. Fantastic punch by Skullin. We're going into this alternate setup here. Very rarely seen. We only saw it against My Chemical Ace Men's here where Skullin is going to be the ball carrier temporarily. Turnover as Rebs is a pass player. Silent Viper getting killed. Rebs is a free man. Gets hammer stopped by Skullin. And Skullin's going to have the ball. Takes the punch on the 7. The ball gets turned right back into Griffey's hands. My God.
What are we? I mean, this. We gotta get it good.
This is a fantastic match so far. This has everyone wondering if this is the team that pushed My Chemical Ace to 3 games. What is the lineup from Zero Logic? We are seeing a 9th gear from them in this game. Oh my God.
I think Zero Logic is finally starting to unlock. Besides the very bad turnovers on the side of Sev, I think he's playing really
Oh
good.
my God, again
Reps
with a
that
bad
cheeky sword
punch.
that's just flying through. Sev right there, ready to pick the ball up. I think Sev's gonna play this really well now that he's gotten 2 turnovers right here. Rebs with another nasty takeaway. Priest finally starting to heat up. Rebs is coming in to claim that space. Sev doing a good job of dancing and rotating space. Both tanks able to stay alive right there, but Rebs going down first. Priest doing his best to stay alive. Mav trying to get back into the play, but getting traded out. That's another nasty sword. Oh, if that was a sword, that's a turnover. But Rebs able to clean that up. Viper playing aggressive, trading out with Rebs. Priest staying alive. Oh, boy.
Oh, whoa, where?
What did I just witness?
Supersonic speed.
Was that an impromptu shotgun?
I'm assuming that was an accidental shotgun via Scullin, because Scullin was trying to hammer hit Sev.
For that.
And
I don't know how I feel about that. That was a weird movement.
absolutely, Rebs taking up the ball here as they're just forcing swords here. Multiple swords here playing against the main lineup of Zero Logic. Griff getting the better of the 2 members here on the far left corner of the Zero Logic lineup. That's a killing spree for Griff Beast as he gets traded by Rebs. They're finally finding this next gear here, potentially with these kills. Spank with a double sword there. Fantastic play. They are just keeping the pressure on. That's an overkill for Spank. That's a throw out to Griff Beast with a rejection. Griff Beast is looking for the quick play. He's got to get the tanks in front of him. They have to crash the plate now, and they finally will. Kilimanjaro, I think that was for Viper. It is a 3-4 scoreline going to round 8. My voice is running out of steam, but this team is not.
The crazy part is Rebs would have hit that sword, but he got body blocked by his own team. That's
that he did. That he did.
To watch.
You're absolutely right. I didn't notice that in the moment, but looking back, that's exactly what happened. Scullin gonna pass this ball back onto the respawner of Griff Beast. Finally passing it back to his ball carrier. Viper's dead. Scullin and Spank trying to find space here. Scullin's traded out, and we are trading again into the mid space here as I'm going to try and take some time here to look into the stats. I'm looking at it. I've never seen a more even score line from a lineup than here on Spanks Life Coaches, where all 3 tanks for Spanks Life Coaches are within 4 kills of each other. Meanwhile, on the other side, you've got a wild variety of kills and deaths for the entire lineup of Zero Logic. It is a fantastically even-keeled tanking line from Spanks Life Coaches, but unfortunately, even keel can only get you so far if you don't get the kills that you can get. Does get the throw out to Scullin. Scullin will hold on to the ball for now. This is a double kill for Griff Beast. Finally, Scullin will hand it back to Griff Beast, and we see again Spanks Life Coaches finding space in the midfield.
Yeah, I think this is we're really starting to see Rebs heat up too. He's playing a lot more confident, and he's gotten 4 or 5 nasty swords in a row. Sev being able to trade that out on the right side. Viper getting a nasty
good hammer stop.
They might create space here. Scullin trying to push up and match that energy. Spank on the respawn.
Doesn't trade with Mav there.
Doing a good job of trading that out. Viper going down on the outside. Rebs getting traded out. It's a 2v. They might turn this around on the if Spank stays alive here. Gets
Spank with a 4 kill.
It's a 1v1 with him and Priest.
That's an overkill. Oh my God. Forces a double commit there onto Spank, but unfortunately will not get the betrayal. Scullin not able to get that kill on Priest, and the double sword will just trade out. Spank says, forget. Oh my God. Turn over to Priest, but immediate turn back to Scullin, who's ready to help out his ball carrier. Oh my God. And again, like I said, I've kept the stats up this whole time. The 3 members that are the tanking line for Spanks Life Coaches, they are almost exactly the same in kills. It is a plus 16 for Viper. It is a plus 9 for Spank. And it is a plus 18 for Scullin. Fantastic tanking from this line. They just need to get the kills that matter.
Again, all props to Zero Logic here. Their defense has just been A1. Like it's so niche. It's so the way that they play. Everybody's playing high IQ. Everybody's playing for every angle. There's nobody over committing. There's nobody over collapsing. They're getting the trades when it needed. Again, double collapse right there. Get the cleanup in the backcourt. They're not allowing any flanks to go on whatsoever. They're keeping all eyes in front, and if you're gonna beat us, you're gonna tank through this line and you're gonna make us play. But even if so, we're gonna make you play all the way into the plate, and your pinky toe is on it. But until then, we are going to make you commit. We're gonna make you get the kills. Rebs sliding in here, looking for the sword.
Good toss out
Able
to
to throw it
Scullin.
out. Priest here for the pressure on left side. We could see something, a nice double out of that. Scullin able to get the punch and kind of move his way up court, staying alive, throwing it out left for a reset. They're gonna have to go back for the ball, which kind of kills that momentum a little bit, but gives Zero Logic time to respawn and get reset up here as they try to handle Viper on the flank, as they try to handle Spank pressing mid. Rebs is behind with the sword. I don't know if they see that or not, but an easy cleanup for that. Almost Mav trading that out with a big kill, which would have been a big kill, I should say. Priest getting another kill. Oh, Mav going up for the pick, but not able to pick that off. Staying alive for just a second longer. Priest, if Priest gets that kill, that's a Rebs ball. But Rebs flying in with that sword. Another
Oh.
my God. Rebs is playing out of his mind right now. And this could be...
Ball gets forced back, and the turnover onto Scullin, but it looks like that they're still going to crash the plate, and they will! That is going to be it! That is all she wrote, and for the first time this season, Zero Logic will take a 2-0 victory, and it will be in a 5-3 scoreline. Spanks Life coaches have a ton to look back on in terms of missed opportunities and missed chances at winning this game, let alone this series, as again, I look at those stats, and I see an over -60 between three members on the Zero Logic lineup, and I see nothing but positive KDs on the Spanx Life coaches lineup. My God, that is a painful loss for Spanx Life coaches.
I mean, you hate to see it, especially them coming off so much steam. But if anything, you take this game as a reality check, right? I think it brings you back down to planet Earth for a little bit. Obviously, you lost last night against one of the biggest teams, but you were feeling a massive confident boost. But this is that reminder that, hey, just because we've had a couple really good games, a couple really good series, that does not mean that we're perfect. It does not mean that we don't have things to work on, and it does not mean that we don't have things to take back for practice this week. But my God, I mean, you look at the last series that we've played over today, yesterday, the day before that, it's been nothing but nonstop griffball, and I think we're back, baby. That's all I got to say.
Absolutely. And I'm gonna be interested to see what the team takes away from this at the end for Spanx Life coaches as a member of the team, because there's a few things that have been potential problems could have crept up here. There's plenty of things that could have come up where we saw, what was it? It was like a 3-2 scoreline in Spank Life coach's favor, and they just gave over 2 quick scores, and suddenly we're at a 4-3 scoreline. So it's just there's a blip in the brain if you get mentally checked out, or could have just been, I'm kind of memeing, but could have just been that Spank's girl just pieced out, and Spank was like, and he was, all frustrated about it.
I think it's more so on the side of they were in a flow state, and then getting spammed with 100 invites.
That does,
the game. After that, it's almost like that mental block checks off, and it's all downhill from there. You're trying to keep the momentum up, you're trying to keep the lock in, but once that happens, you lose the game right after it. You roll in, you start to get hot, you get dominated on the field after that. Like it's just that downward spiral that you start to hit, especially when you get pulled out of that flow state. That's almost like an adrenaline dump. You just don't know what to do with yourself anymore. Your body's still there, you're still swinging the hammer, but mentally we're not as clocked as we were before.
Absolutely. And so while we're between games here, I'm going to take this moment to say the stream is going to go on a quick stream break here as I hand it off to Deathcrawler, who's going to step in here for me. I think he will be duo casting with you, Rain, as I'm going to have to step away. My voice is shot, so I'm gonna leave you guys to do this third game. Best of luck with it's the last drop versus Zero Logic. Wish you the best of luck, and hopefully you guys don't have as long a game as I had.
Yeah, thanks for being with us here, Tez. I always appreciate casting with you. I look forward to casting the rest of the games with you, but you have a good night for sure.
Absolutely.